Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the Rugby World Cup 2023 first semi-final fixture. Argentina taking on New Zealand. Now that is a fixture we have seen in the Rugby Championship. It is now the semi-final. Whoever wins this will face off against the winner of England versus South Africa, which of course is a rematch of what we saw in the 2019 final. Looking through at the results of the quarterfinals, it was the first game of the quarters when Wales were taking on LOS Pumas. Now the Pumas came in as underdogs for that fixture, but managed to pull off the victory, 29 points to 17. In fact, the largest winning margin of any side throughout the quarterfinals. That did take place last week, and it was that last-minute try from Nicolas Sanchez as well that helped them over the line, alongside some very good work from the forwards, keeping close in that game. And the big thing for Argentina is if they can stay close in this one, anything can happen in that last 10 minutes or so. New Zealand, speaking about a close game, 28 points to 24. They got themselves the win over the Irish in what was one of the most thrilling test matches we have seen throughout not just 2023, but perhaps for quite some time. 28 points to 24, like I said. Sam Whitelock getting the turnover after 30 plus phases, and he will find himself in the starting lineup this week rather than coming off the bench, switching with Brodie Retallick. The AB's trying to keep a few of the players that little bit fresher just in case they do make their way through to the final for next week. England versus Fiji, it was a close game as well, 6 points separating those two sides, but the English just that little bit too strong for the Fijians, getting that little bit more lucky at times to be able to take their opportunities, winning that game by the 6. And then this last game of the weekend, the closest of all of them, 29 points to 28, the Springboks, the defending world champions, getting themselves their victory over the host nations. That game was an absolutely fantastic one as well. We were spoiled for rugby in the quarterfinals. Now we're here at the semis, and hopefully it is going to be the same case. Although looking at the betting odds, it does seem like people are saying otherwise. Argentina coming in at $7.50 underdogs. To put that into perspective of how much of an underdog that is compared to the quarterfinals, Fiji, they were the biggest underdog of the weekend last week, and they came in as $3.30 underdogs. So more than double the chance for Argentina to be able to walk away with this game up against the Kiwis, but that will just determine Argentina that little bit more, drive them to try and succeed in this contest. England coming in as underdogs up against the South Africans. In the chat we have got, hi Hamish, says Clear, welcome in, hope you're doing extremely well. Good morning Kiwi lad, says Peter Stowles, welcome in. And I and Hamish took the day off for this game, says Robert. Smart move, because this is definitely going to be a thrilling contest. Same with England versus South Africa. For anyone wondering when that one is taking place, it is 24 hours after the kickoff of this contest is when that one will be starting. Hi everyone, warm greetings from Texas, says Finding Fun. And also hello, says Go Travel Planet, welcome in. And Whoop Whoop Chicken Soup, says Kerr. And the chat as well. Tell you what, it's going to be an exciting game. I feel like if it's anything like the Rugby Championship, it should be a fast-paced game of rugby, but I'm hoping that we see it a little bit closer than that game in the Rugby Championship. Of course, we saw New Zealand winning that game by around that 29-point margin. I'd like to think that Argentina, they would have wrote some of those wrongs, and now we'll have a much better performance. Hey, Hamish, greetings, buddy. Have a great commentary, says Stuart. Thank you very much, mate. Are you watching Lions versus Stormers? I thought Lions Stormers was taking place tomorrow night, if I'm not wrong. So if it is on now, then I am currently not, no, because we are on the stream. Good morning, y'all. Boom, it's rugby time. Who says Simon in the business end of the tournament arriving, says Gary Smith in there. Yeah, every game is crucial, and I talked about it on those quarterfinals. After those games were over, you now need 2 good games and you're world champions. That is what all of these sides will be looking at. That's also one of the main reasons we have seen minimal changes from a lot of these international sides heading into this round of the Rugby World Cup, is because you don't want to be making so many switches, because if you do and you get it wrong, then that could cost you your whole competition. Is it tomorrow? Says, or it is tomorrow, says Claire. And then, who do you think is winning the Rugby World Cup? I honestly still feel like it is one of the two sides that were on Pool A or Pool B, which would be New Zealand or South Africa. And looking at the way that the odds are sitting, that is a very likely possibility to be the final of the Rugby World Cup, which is actually what we originally predicted before this competition started. And also we have got there, whoop whoop up the ABs, says Michael there in Kia ora, says Jake Jackson, welcome in, mate, and howdy y'all, says Lightbringer in there as well. But looking through at the two starting lineups for these sides, first of all, Argentina, Thomas Gachot will be at number 1, Julio Montoya, the captain, at 2, and Francisco Gomez Cordella slotting in as the number 3. So across this whole starting lineup for Argentina, just the one change, and that is Gonzalo Berjano, who comes in at number 9 rather than Tomas Kubeli. In the locking duo, it is Guido Petti at number 4 and Thomas Lavanini at 5. Two men who bring a lot of aggression into this Pumas lineup, and passion is another way of putting it. These two men will be dangerous. They'll be busy because I feel we will see quite a few lineouts in this contest compared to the quarterfinals. Juan Martin Gonzalez still finds himself at number 6. That is due to the injury of Pablo Matera, although I do feel Juan Martin Gonzalez actually slotting in at 6 very nicely in the last couple of contests. Majos Crema at number 7, and Fukando Eza, another man who came in due to that injury of Matera, but he's been doing very well. That game up against Wales, he was one of the standout players for Argentina, so I am glad to see him get another opportunity. Gonzalo Berjano comes into the starting lineup. He actually wasn't even off the bench for last week's contest. Instead, it was Bazan Velez, but they've gone straight back to Berjano. He partners well with Santiago Herreras, who they have been having as a combination throughout their Rugby Championship and the rest of 2023. Santiago Chocabarez, he is well rested and ready to go at number 12, having a fantastic tournament thus far. Lucio Cinti on his outside at 13. Then Mateo Carreras, he has had a hat-trick throughout this Rugby World Cup competition. Wouldn't mind another one here. Emiliano Boffelli out on the right wing. Importance of the kicking tee, I think, will be massive in this contest, because any points opportunity Argentina can take, they need to take it. And there will be times where they can't even afford maybe even to take the 3. They might have to look for the corner, look to be aggressive up against this All Black side, and Emiliano Boffelli definitely going to be one of the keys for them in this game. And Juan Cruz Malia at number 15 to close out the starting lineup for Argentina. In the comments, we have got Go the All Blacks from South Africa, says Michelle, and Will Jordan at £8 odds for the first try scorer, says Kerr. He's a very popular man, Will Jordan, and I have to say, he's had a fantastic tournament, currently setting second equal, I believe it is, on the leading try scorers. Currently number 1 is Damien Pinot on 6. Will Jordan has 5, alongside Damien McKenzie and Lester Fainanuku. When we look at All Blacks who are sitting on those 5, Bundy Aki, I believe, was also on the 5. Henry Arundel, who unfortunately has only had 1 game throughout this Rugby World Cup, which is a bit of a shame for him. Definitely because he was able to score 5 tries in his one outing. But yeah, Will Jordan definitely a very good option for who will be able to score the first try in the match. Is a Rugby World Cup semi-final record if the ABs win by 20 plus, says the Wallaby. I don't know about a record, to be honest. I know New Zealand have had some pretty chunky wins in the past in terms of score margin, but hopefully someone will be able to help us out with that stat. What is the biggest New Zealand winning margin? That's not to say that I think that's what's going to happen here. Just, does anyone know the exact stat? What time does the game start? It does start at 8 a.m. New Zealand time, so we've still got a little bit of time before we get into the match. But of course, seeing as we've only got the 2 games of the weekend, gives us less time to be able to talk to you guys. So I wanted to start nice and early, get your opinions on the game, and know exactly how you guys are feeling going into this contest. Go New Zealand. Want to face you in the finals from a box, says Maritz. And also go the All Blacks, says Michelle. There, go Argentina's greeting from Santa Cruz. And Argentina, says Sebastian. So welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well. Morena, Kiwi lads, far now. And go the ABs, says Nazi. There, New Zealand by 10, says Maritz. We've already got a donation in the chat as well. That was from Dime Till Death. Thank you very much. Cheer bowl up the ABs from Atara. So yeah, hugely appreciated for your donation there, mate. Having just had a haircut, says Krampus. I did. I decided I'd tidy up myself a little bit before getting into these finals games, seeing as, I mean, I was a bit scruffy on the last live stream. I probably still, to a certain extent, am a bit scruffy as well, but it's all right. We got the suit on. We're looking for a good game, and I feel like we're going to get it here between these two sides. Good evening from South Africa, says Vitamin Green, and All Blacks by 20. And also cannot believe we are this far in. Let's go and may the best team win, says Ocker. It's quite a shame, isn't it? Because this competition has been extremely entertaining and has been extremely fast flowing as we make our way through the rounds. But we are now only 4 games away from the end of the Rugby World Cup. At the start of the competition, we had 48 games that we were covering on the channel. Every single one of them. There's only 4 left. And hopefully they are entertaining games to close out the competition. Of course, we have still got more rugby that we are covering on the channel. That will be the URC, the next comp that is picking up alongside the Sevens. Any update on the weather at the stadium at the moment and your thoughts on the influence on the game? says Ryan. Now, I haven't heard too much about the stadium weather as of yet. I believe that it's not supposed to be a bad evening, though. I can tell you all the referees and everything along those lines. I just haven't got the exact weather report just at this moment. But I think no matter what the weather is doing, these two sides are going to try and play more of a running game of rugby rather than the kicking game. Mainly because I think that the All Blacks, they will definitely want to have that fast-paced game of rugby. The Argentines may look to get a little bit more kicking going, but Angus Gardner will be in charge of this one alongside Nick Berry, Carl Dixon, and then Ben Whitehouse will be in charge of the TMO. Watching the game at my girlfriend's. Don't know if that's a good idea. Says Side, well, it's a better idea than for me to watch it at my girlfriend's side because I do not have one. So I would just be in some stranger's house. Looking sharp, Amy says Crumpus. Thoughts on a cheeky Puma win? The Kiwi lad says Mr. Remix. Tell you what, with the way that Argentina have played throughout the Rugby World Cup, we cannot completely write them off in this contest. Yes, it's going to be absolutely tricky and a challenge for them to be able to get the victory, but it's not impossible. We've seen them beat the All Blacks twice in the last 5 years. They would love to be able to do it again. Brother, promise US, you'll wear the All Blacks jersey, says, or promise us you'll wear the All Blacks jersey, says Tony. Maybe in like the All Blacks lineup prediction video this week. If they manage to win this one, we will end up wearing the jersey. What a cracker of a game for the All Blacks, says Rashad. Yeah, I'm sure that stylistically they are very happy to be playing the Pumas. All Blacks the final, rainy and cold, says Hensel. So lovely. What a nice evening by the sounds of it. If the Pumas can stay away from the cards, they should be smashing. First try Pumas, but the ABs by 11 points, says Warren. And holding thumb for a good win for your team, Amish, says Hillary. And I should mention the All Blacks, they are yet to concede themselves a try within the first 20 minutes of a Rugby World Cup fixture throughout 2023. The only other side to be able to do that so far is England, who are also sitting 0 from their first 20 minutes. Springboks and Argentina only conceding the 1 try each. So it shows you that the best sides throughout the first 20 minutes are actually the sides in the semi-final. So whether or not that is just a coincidence, or whether that is the reason that they've gone so far because they can start matches well, perhaps that is the reasoning. I chose to not take the poll because I want Argentina to win. However, I also want to be honest. Says Diane, I'm scared for tomorrow for South Africa, says Clear. Although South Africa going with an unchanged 23, so I'm sure that they will be relatively happy with what they saw from their side last week. The attacking early from the Springboks, I think, will be very dangerous. Hamish, you should get a girlfriend, says Luke. It isn't always as easy as that, you know. I think my sleep schedule definitely hurts me because I am sleeping during the day. Although saying that, after this match is finished, I am going and playing in a cricket match, so that will be a very interesting one. Although currently I might have a broken toe, so that's not good. Still can move on it though, so that's ideal. But looking through at the All Blacks starting lineup for this contest, they have also made minimal changes, only really switching players in and out because of just resting and also giving opportunities to other men who hadn't had the chance. But Ethan de Groot at number 1, Cody Taylor will be 2, who made 14 tackles in the last contest, was looking extremely strong up against the Irish, so that is why he keeps his spot in the starting lineup. And then Tyrell Lomax at number 3. That de Groot and Lomax combo last week was working very well. They were under a lot of pressure due to Andrew Porter and Tyke Furlong's scrummaging ability, but they still managed to stop that momentum of the Irish at scrum time, which helped them drastically later on. And the contest, Sam Whitelock at number 4, so he comes into the starting lineup rather than Brodie Retallick, who does find himself now coming off the bench, and then Scott Barrett at 5. One of the 3 Barretts who are in good form at the moment, making a lot of tackles last week. Scott Barrett, not any barnstorming runs, but that is just the way that we've come to expect that either Scott Barrett, you'll see him all the time, or you'll just see him slowly working away for the ABs out there on the field. Shannon Frizzell at number 6, Sam Cane at number 7. I believe one of his best ever All Blacks performances in that game up against the Irish, getting 2 turnovers, 1, making 22 tackles. So the leading tackler for the All Blacks in that quarterfinal. And then Artie Savia at number 8. He was also up for the task, playing extremely good rugby, really partnering with Sam Cane well. And I'm looking forward to seeing both of those 2 men in action for the All Blacks. Here, Aaron Smith and Richie Mo'unga, they have stuck with the 19 combo. Geordie Barrett and Rico Ioane. Ioane finally finding his form for this World Cup competition and now wants to hang on to that right through to as far as the All Blacks make him. Mark Talia comes back into the starting lineup. He did miss last week due to disciplinary issues, so it was Fine Arnuku instead You got the chance out on that wing and actually scored himself a try in the process by Nuku. Will Jordan out on the right wing. It's about an 80% likeliness that he scores no matter who he's playing up against. He's got a good chance in this game. And then Beauden Barrett at number 15 was playing very well from the back, also running the ball occasionally, making the little bit of a confusion for the defensive line of Ireland, because normally we are used to just seeing Beauden Barrett kick. Now he's tried to incorporate that running game. Once more, we have got 40 new messages in the chat as well. We have got the hello everyone, praying for the upset of the ages tonight. Says Seno on top of the morning to you, Hamish, says Flanders. And also we have got the easy win for the All Blacks, says Nya. And also go the All Blacks, says Peter Stowers. And also go the Kiwis. You can do it, show us, says Philip. All Blacks all the way, says Osea. And there, but I do appreciate every single one of you for being here throughout this Rugby World Cup. Also, just in terms of throughout, even if you've tuned in for 5 seconds on one live stream, it is greatly appreciated. They are just showing here live at the stadium now. St. Denis, it's looking relatively overcast at the moment, I would say. And also Chloe watching and grinning, says Justin, but South Africa could be tired from France. Says cool story, bro. Although at this stage of the competition, I believe that every side, because they've made minimal changes, they know that their players have still got enough of a gas tank to make it through to the last stage of the competition. Like, no matter what sides are going to be playing next week, all 4 of these teams, whether you're playing in the 3rd place playoff game though, or you are playing for 1st place, is soon to be confirmed from the ones that we see here. Not against England, says Film Craze. And also we have got there, guess who's back? Chahuga, the All Blacks, says Tuta. And also we have got there number 1, number 2, Faye Bro, says it was Nazi Williams. And also New Zealand says Izarelli. And Hamish, are you a batter or bowler or an all-rounder? So I am an all-rounder, although I didn't get to bowl last week, but I'm hoping to bowl this week. But the weather at the moment is not looking too flash, so maybe we might have to wait for the cricket start a bit later. Hamish is an all-rounder. Any girl would be lucky, says Enzo. And good morning, Hamish, says Zion. And also so smart, mate, says Sanja. And now what time is kickoff? So it is kicking off in only, it sounds like a long time, but I promise it will fly by 73 minutes time till the start of this contest. It is an 8 a.m. kickoff here in New Zealand. It's going to be a very exciting one when these two sides take to the field. Like I mentioned, a rematch of the Rugby Championship. Now, we did get to see the All Blacks win that game in the Rugby Championship that was up against Argentina in Argentina. So having a little bit of that psychological edge for 2023. But if anything to go off is the last 3 or 4 years, we know that Argentina are well and truly up for the task when they go head-to-head with the All Blacks. It's 7:45 in South Africa. We're ready. What time is it by you, Hamish? Says Diane. So it is currently 6:48 a.m. here in New Zealand. So a relatively early morning start. Bro, get a zombie, babe, to match your sleep patterns. I know it should fall apart. Normal vibes, says Warren there. And also, there you go. The Pumas miracles do exist, says Alejandro. And that's the thing. They do come in as massive underdogs, but we have seen underdogs win before. The biggest underdog upset we have seen throughout this Rugby World Cup was Portugal beating the Fijians. And then before that, it was actually the Fijians beating the Australians. So we know that upsets can happen. We haven't seen a huge amount of them throughout this Rugby World Cup, but that just makes them that little bit more special if they do end up in that scenario. An 8 p.m. kickoff here in the UK, says Connor. So I believe that is a 9 p.m. kickoff as well for the South Africans. I might just go to work Monday and fake break in toe, get paid to recover, browse Tinder and prep for the Rugby World Cup final, says Simon. Although that doesn't really work because my dad's my boss in terms of for work. So I went to cricket practice on Wednesday, just limped around. It's not like painful as long as I don't stand on it. But, you just got to dodge the pain. Is that a sentence that people have said before? I don't know if it is. Mark Delia, first try, says Zion there as well. And first try to Beauden Barrett, says Rodney. Hello, people, says happy welcome in. And you're ready for a big final, says Enzo. I'm excited, ladies and gentlemen, because there is a chance that we could also see a rematch of the Rugby Championship for the final of the Rugby World Cup. We could see a rematch of a semi-final. We could see a match that we haven't seen in a while in the Pumas versus England. There are a lot of possibilities. In fact, we did see that match during the pool stage, so that is the most recent game. We're seeing biggest semi-final win was 43 points by New Zealand against the Welsh in 1987. Since then, biggest win was 24 points, 2007 by South Africa against Argentina. Okay, so 43 points is certainly a large margin. I don't see this game getting to that extent. I do see it being relatively close. Oh, I'm hoping to anyway. No bouncing in the sport, Hamish, says Hensel. And Justin is right, says it was there from the Ritz. And how tired are you after these live streams, Hamish? You basically talk non-stop for about 3 hours. No pee breaks either. Talk about commitment, says Sino T. Yeah, normally after these late night live streams or early morning live streams, we would be going to bed relatively close after. But in this case, we're going to play a full match of cricket. So I'm excited though. Should be a great day for some semi-finals. They are just showing 2 men in Paris, which is Mills Miliaina and also Jeff Wilson. It is raining at the ground at the moment. I feel like that will definitely impact the way that these two sides play. But another thing that will impact the game, of course, will be the players who make their way off the bench for Argentina. Augustin Crevi at number 16, Jos Scalevi at 17, and Eduardo Bachot at number 18, Matthias Alemano at 19, and Rodrigo Bruni at 20. So going with the 5-3 split in this game, Argentina, rather than the 6-2, they didn't want to stack the forwards as they did feel they wanted that extra back as a little bit more cover. It will be Bazin Velez at 21, Nicolas Sanchez, the man who scored the last try in the game up against Wales, at 22, also adds a lot of stability when it comes to that kicking game for Argentina. Every point is crucial in a semi-final, in any final playoff game, in fact. So Argentina will want to make sure that when they are given the opportunity, they are able to take it, get those points on the board, and try and create that scoreboard pressure. Matthias Maroni is at number 23 for the Argentines. A very fast player, a very good player to have later on in a contest. And that closes out the Pumas. 23 for New Zealand, Simisoni Taukei'aho. He comes into the lineup to replace Dane Coles. They're not exactly in a bad position at the moment for the All Blacks in terms of those replacement hookers. Both been playing well. They've decided Taukei'aho, though, for this game, after the impact he had last time they played Argentina, would be the option to go with Tamaiti Williams at 17 and Fletcher Null at number 18. So the two Crusaders props, which does mean no Ofa Tuangafasi and no Nepo Lolala for this match. Once more, Brody Retallick at number 19. He did start the last game, got a line-out turnover, which was one of the crucial ones up against the Irish. Of course, a crucial turnover was Sam Whitelock's in the last moment of the game. 16 degrees Celsius, rain, and 6 kilometres of wind. I have just seen as the weather report for Paris. It's actually raining relatively heavily. So hopefully that does calm down a bit before we get to the kickoff. Dalton Pavali at number 20 once again finds himself coming off the bench. Finley Christie and Damien McKenzie. The reason I say those two men together is both of them were on the bench last week up against Ireland, but neither of them got the opportunity to take to the field. Instead, they did decide to keep the two starters out there in Aaron Smith as well as Richie Mo'unga. But Damien McKenzie, currently sitting on 5 tries throughout his Rugby World Cup campaign, wouldn't mind an opportunity to take that leading try-scoring tally if he does make his way onto the park. And then Anton Leonard-Brown, I felt he did have a real impact off the bench for New Zealand, so it makes sense why they have decided to stick with him there. Chiefs teammates with McKenzie as well, so a little bit of chemistry late if they do decide to go that way. But of course, Ian Foster, he's a hard man to predict in terms of where and when he will be making his subs. Who's the ref? Will it be penalties on penalties? If a running game, ABs will walk, it says Warren. So the referee in charge of this one is Angus Gardner. And then Nick Berry, Carl Dixon, the assistant referees, and then the TMO, Ben Whitehouse. So Angus Gardner, he's normally not too bad overall in terms of Super Rugby when we've seen him, or the Rugby Championship. So I think this game will be relatively free-flowing, which, like you mentioned, does benefit the All Blacks that little bit more. And I'm hoping the two semi-finals are exciting and not as one-sided as being predicted, says Jimbo. And I am spending the weekend in Dubai with my daughter at Atlantis, the Palm. Enjoy the game, go the All Blacks, says Joss. And there are no pee breaks. Are you not curious how that water bottle keeps refilling through the stream, says Kerr. And also both stepping up a gear since last game. Let's see who stepped up the most, says Productivity by Design. Yeah, both sides getting themselves good wins in the quarterfinals, of course. Depending on how games go in those playoff matches, you're either going home or you are staying in the competition. There is only one undefeated side in these semi-finals, ladies and gentlemen, that being England. Every other team has at least tasted one defeat. And that is the thing that makes this World Cup so exciting. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. As long as you are in the running and then you start winning those important games, you are continuing through the competition. All Blacks will win this. But think it will be tight, says Hensel. And also, what's the weather like in France? It is raining and it is 16 degrees Celsius. So could be a little bit humid near the end of the contest, but we are going to see a little bit of a slippery ball scenario for most of this game by the looks of it, unless, of course, the rain does line up majorly before the kickoff, which I don't really see happening. It did look like it was pretty well set. I think the selection of Taukei'aho, because of the weather, lots of pick and goes, Mills and scrum, says Rodney. And good evening, Jimbo, says Sino T. And also we've got that hope Argentina wins, but money obviously on the All Blacks. I'll eat my hat if you don't get hired as a sports professional or professional sports pundit, says Mr. Remix. Although the thing that I don't have that they have is ex-rugby experience. So that is the thing that they normally look for first in terms of the hiring. So things in Christie, says Kerr. Hamish, you doing the URC this weekend, says Hensel. It's a bit of a tricky one for the URC because we don't know whether or not anything has changed from last year. Last year we were able to do it copyright free. This year I think we are going to probably miss the games before Springboks versus England, but then end up covering the ones that do take place afterwards, just to make sure that we don't end up with any random like auto copyright strike that would then impact being able to do that quarterfinal, or sorry, the semi-final, if that makes sense. So we probably won't do the ones beforehand, but we will be hoping to do it after. You Donald ducking it today, Hamish, says C Fence. Is that with the green tie? Maybe, and how come Roygaard has been dropped to green? Says Joseph, well, Ian Foster has repeatedly said the reason he has decided to pick Christie is for his defence later on in the contest. And that would be all well and good if we actually saw him make his way onto the field in that game up against Ireland, but that just tells me that Ian Foster doesn't back his defence as much as he first said. Now, Roygaard is a really good attacking threat for the All Blacks, but he does not get the opportunities in these important games, and I would love to see him get that chance, because up against Argentina later on in the game, I feel like that would actually work pretty nicely. Hamish, did you do something different with your hair? Says CNOT, I cut it. It was too long, so he did give it the snip. And Mackenzie with a chance, says Mbaru. And also we have got the Hi Hamish and all the others here. We want our side to win. We also want and need a quality performance from both teams. We had it in the quarters, won it in the semis. Yes, we'll definitely have it, says Stephen. And I'm so glad Mackenzie is back. We are going to have him or need him in the final, says Jean. But yeah, they did give him that chance off the bench last week in terms of naming him as 22. They just didn't actually give him that chance. Barry is a nightmare waiting to happen, says Hensel. And if Roygaard plays, then people will question why he isn't starting with Smith on the bench. Only logical explanation for Christie being there, says Kerr. And Argentina will win. And how the F are England the most undefeated team left, or the last undefeated team left, most boring rugby in 2023. But they're winning. That's the big thing. Like, at the end of the day, yes, some of their games maybe haven't had that thrilling edge to it, like some of the other contests we have seen in this Rugby World Cup, but they've been able to grit and grind their way towards an undefeated streak at the moment throughout this Rugby World Cup. So I feel like there is definitely something to look at for England and go, well, yes, they are able to score tries when they need to. They didn't really look for that in their first game up against Argentina. We might actually see those two sides go head-to-head again in the near future, depending on how the results of this World Cup semi-final and also the other one does end up going. But, yeah, it will be very intriguing. See how it goes. What time does the game start? It starts in exactly 1 hour's time. So we are getting extremely close to the start of this fixture, ladies and gentlemen. We've still got quite a few stats to look through in terms of the leading players for these two sides. Just update in South Africa. It's still very expensive in South Africa. My wife just dropped one on the floor. Can you recommend a good psychologist? Says Philip. I think the egg prices here were quite high as well recently. I think it was about $12 a dozen or something along those lines. Just slightly unfortunate. The weather is supposed to be getting worse around kickoff, then lining up. Who do you think can better adapt? I honestly feel like, in terms of rainy rugby, like, yes, New Zealand showed in their game, I believe it was up against Namibia, that they are capable of scoring tries in wet conditions. Argentina, though, maybe that little bit of slipperiness is what they need for the game to be able to play more at their tempo rather than the All Blacks, because I believe the All Blacks will just try and go guns blazing, quick as they can, out the gate, and just keep on piling on that pressure. Whereas Argentina, if they can keep the All Blacks playing at a slightly lower pace, that might be where they can start to get their momentum going. Let's go, Kiwi, let's go. There's MBT. And also, I hope we see the inconsistent All Blacks tonight. I really want Argentina to do it for Latin America tonight, says CNOT. And did you watch KSI versus Tommy Fury? I did. Me and George actually ended up watching it when it was taking place. Good call on Roygaard. Hamish, says Sai. And Angus Gardner represents Aussie in the semis, says Victor. And also haven't seen Argentina in a rain match. Can they work with it? Slower ball, slower run, says Diane. I think it will help them a little bit because, like I said, if there's a couple more drop balls, that won't actually be a bad thing, I don't feel, for Argentina, as they'll have a little bit more time to be able to adapt to how the All Blacks are playing throughout this 80 minutes. Good evening, egg chasing fans, says Finger a Number. And also quarterfinals I watched last week was the best quarterfinals I've ever seen, says Morne Lagrange. Yeah, every game of the quarterfinals lived up to the expectations. I feel like even Argentina versus Wales, because of how one-sided the score looks, with it being 12 points difference, like it was only that interception try of Nicolas Sanchez near the end of the game that allowed the score to sit that way. But there was plenty on the line up till that point. It's my birthday present. Give us the precious, says 80 Lab. And also, I'm a Springbok supporter. But for this match, I go with Hamish and support the ABs, says Desmond. And of course, the Springboks going to be playing tomorrow in the matchup up against England. We are covering that one on the channel. I mentioned about the odds already on this live stream. The All Blacks coming in as $1.07 favourites compared to Springboks coming as the $1.17 favourites. But one thing is for sure, these two sides are considered underdogs. And that is the way that it will stay, I would say, a majority of the match, unless both of these teams are able to really fire up early. But the Springboks and All Blacks, they have only conceded one try combined throughout the first 20 minutes. The same can be said about this side of the draw, though. So expect a lower scoring first 20 minutes, maybe in the semi-final, due to the fact that none of these sides like conceding early. They'd rather concede those tries later on. Well, they'd rather concede none, to be fair to them. But yeah, that is the way that these stats do sit. And also, I should mention, for anyone wondering about what happens in terms of who goes from where when they have this game, third place playoff game, that is going to be next week at the same start time as what we are seeing for this game. So in about 7 days' time, from 58 minutes, that is when that third and fourth place playoff game will be taking place. And then the final of the Rugby World Cup, it is at 8 a.m. on the Sunday morning. We're going to have a huge build-up planned for that one all throughout the week as well. We're going to have special videos coming out, interviews, all sorts, to get us hyped and ready to go for that final. Looking at the odds for this game in particular, though, of course, $7.50 underdogs Argentina. I believe the last time we saw an odd that was that one-sided would have been the group stage matches, and probably the last game of the group stages. So it's been quite a while since we've seen a score line like that, or a score margin expected like this one. But I honestly feel with the Pumas, the way they've been playing throughout this Rugby World Cup, if they can keep it close, they are right in the game. We have got there to Sexton Choke, missing that kick, says Porter. I mean, we don't normally see misses from Johnny Sexton, that is for sure. But at the end of the day, like, that was one of those games that could have gone either way multiple times throughout that fixture. I said if they rematch this week with New Zealand versus Ireland, Ireland could easily have themselves the victory this time. So that is why rugby, it's so important to get it right at the right time, and the All Blacks did just that. And the winning streak of Ireland, it was immense up till that quarterfinal, but unfortunately just not able to break that trend of getting knocked home. And that stage, cull your drink for every New Zealand try or penalty. Remove clothing if Argentina score. Nudie run around the block if Argentina wins, says Simon. That sounds like something that I cannot do on a PG channel, I would say. And also show some respect for people on this. I should have said something like that, says Osea. I'm not sure what that one's for. And also, we'll give you good luck, lads. Bring it home, says Jolin there. And also, we'll give you, I think they are something special that Springboks have, as that they only have South Africans play in their team. Not saying international talent hurts team, says Gary. Okay, so just trying to say, I know that there's been talks of that all throughout this Rugby World Cup, but when you look at the foreign-born players list, like there are a lot for a huge amount of sides, and throughout history, there has been at least one foreign-born player for every side around the world. So, yes, you can make that argument to some extent, but at the end of the day, when you look at a team, you should see the team and the side and the nation that they're representing, not where their roots are. They're still part of the team. This may be a little late, but I thought I'd say congrats on your 40k subs. I see his Dark Scar Flame. Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciate it. Of course, we are now on the road towards 50,000, which is something I didn't think I'd say throughout these Rugby World Cup games. So anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are currently 250 away from hitting the 41,000. So I think that will be the goal by the end of this live stream. You should make a Southern Hemisphere 15 versus Northern Hemisphere 15 fantasy team. Says Justin there. There's an idea. There's a lot of videos that we have got planned for the near future. And thanks, Amos. Your channel is really awesome. Says Wade. Thank you very much, mate. And also we have got there and the chat are looking forward to seeing what Rassi and co will do with the squad after the World Cup. I hope they bring in younger players and build a team for the next World Cup. Says Justin. And yeah, it's pretty interesting, the selection choice for the Springboks in their game for the semi-finals, mainly because a lot of people anticipated quite a few changes. Perhaps we'd see Kane and Moody, perhaps we'd see Andre Esterhuizen, but that was not the case. Rassi Erasmus, the unpredictable man, goes with the exact same 23 as what we did see in their last contest for the Pumas, playing the ABs. Has the same tension as the ABs versus Ireland last week. That has a lot of value to them, says Kurt. And also got chat brochure, and also forgot to sub, says Vince in there. And Rassi is playing in the final. I'm glad to see Kiwi lads. You have 40k plus subs. I remember joining the mid last year. Good, you reap and reward for your effort, says Maddie. And there as well. And like I always say, it is greatly appreciated you guys all being here, because without you guys in the chat, this would just be commentary and it wouldn't be the same. I feel like that is why I love doing these so much, is because I get to talk to people from all around the world while we are talking about the game, getting to see what's happening around the world of rugby. And we've got plenty more coming in the near future. Previous fixtures for these two sides. Just before I forget about them, I was supposed to put them up probably about 20 minutes ago, but I got excited and got distracted. But these are the previous 5 fixtures for the All Blacks in their Rugby World Cup campaign. They did start off with a loss up against the French, 27 points to 13. But as we currently sit, the All Blacks, they are the side still in the competition rather than France, who were defeated last week by the Springboks, 71 points to 3. That was the win for New Zealand over Namibia. Now, that was in pouring rain. And the reason that has significance is this game is going to be played in a rainy, stormy-looking night. So that might give the All Blacks that little bit of confidence, knowing that they've already played in a contest that they did have to play in the rain, and they were able to get themselves quite a few tries. 96 points to 17, a massive, massive scoring game. The most of this Rugby World Cup so far, with 113 points scored between the two sides. New Zealand getting the 96, building up some massive momentum as they headed towards their Uruguayan game, and they were able to win that as well, 73 points to 0. And then the last contest, the quarterfinals of the Rugby World Cup, it was up against an Irish side on a winning streak who did look bound for the final, but the New Zealanders halting them in their tracks, winning it by the 4 points. And a game that was just absolutely incredible in those final moments. You could cut the tension with a knife. People didn't want to leave their seats because they knew if they did, they might have jinxed the side. And Sam Whitelock getting that turnover in the end to help the All Blacks towards the victory for the Argentines. Their recent fixtures throughout this Rugby World Cup. Their first game, it actually started in similar fashion to New Zealand. They did lose it. 27 points to 10. They weren't able to score themselves too many tries throughout that fixture, just the one. But that is actually more than we saw England score in that contest. England with George Ford getting the 3 drop kicks and the 6 penalties in their favour, and they still managed to win it by 17. The next game for Argentina, it was a tough one up against the Samoans, a physical game, but they did win it 19 points to 10. Their third game up against their South American counterparts, 59 points to 5, the win over Chile. And in that game, we did see Mateo Carreras get himself a hat-trick. So a brilliant bit of work from that man out on the wing. He is going head-to-head with Will Jordan here. So going to have to use his speed to his advantage. 39 points to 27. Argentina getting themselves the win over the Japanese in the last game of Pool D. And then the quarterfinal, they did win it 29 points to 17, which I feel was a little bit more one-sided on the scoreboard than that game was. At the end of the day, it was right down to the wire. That interception try for Nicolas Sanchez near the end of the contest, though, that secured the deal. That secured the spot for Argentina through to the semi-finals. We have got 58 messages in the chat. I am going to try my absolute best to be able to read as many of these messages as I can. It's an honour to have a Māori player on an Irish team. He's a player of the world, or he's my player of the World Cup. Says Porta, New Zealand will win this. The big question is what will be the margin, says the human chapter. So I guess while we are reading through all the messages as well, ladies and gentlemen, do let me know your score prediction for this contest. Do you see the All Blacks getting themselves a large victory? Do you see Argentina sneaking a win by a few points? Do let me know what you think. Hi, Hamish, says Penny Lane. Welcome in. I hope you are doing extremely well. Jonah said good morning as well. And even to the Kiwi lads rocking it like crazy. And your rugby rockers out there, says Ruth, will the game be live streamed here? Sadly, due to licensing, any match footage or audio does get us taken straight off YouTube. Why did they stop wearing that awful jersey? Or did they stop wearing that awful jersey with the weird ferns on it? Says Gordon, they have not, I don't. Oh, they might have actually. I'm looking at it really close up now on Richie Mo'unga, and I don't think it does have that pattern. So they decided to get rid of that side of it. In the training and whatnot, they do have the designs on the front, but in the actual game, I believe those designs have gone away. And Hamish says the House of Memories, welcome in. And also morning from New Zealand, do the haka for us, says Dallas. That would be pretty embarrassing on my part, I have to say. I don't think I quite have the same level of intimidation as the All Blacks can offer while doing that haka. Getting psyched up for this all Southern Hemisphere battle. Says Chris, of course, we've got 3 Southern Hemisphere sides remaining in this Rugby World Cup compared to what we saw in the quarterfinals where it was 4-4. But the Southern Hemisphere, the only side to lose from the South was Fiji. It's fair to say the Guinness Six Nations is not a rugby's greatest championship, says Mo. But then in that case, why does South Africa want to join the Six Nations if it's not considered the greatest championship? As you say, Mo, it does seem to be a competition South Africa have got their eyes on for the future. When does it start, says Stephen? It is starting in only less than 50 minutes time. So it will be an 8 a.m. kickoff here in New Zealand. How's it, Hamish? 27 points to 10 to New Zealand, says Sean. And also heading to 900, only 150 likes. So some love for the Kiwi lads. Go the AB, says Malcolm. Yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And also, what impact do you think the rain will have on the game? I think that it will be a little bit of a lower scoring contest now that we've got some rain to be able to compete with. But I think that that will almost benefit both sides in terms of having more time to think about what they actually want to do out there on the park. At the end of the day, it is a playoff game and you need to make sure you're playing well throughout the 80 minutes or else it could be the end of the Rugby World Cup. I should mention there is going to be quite a bit still remaining in this World Cup for these two sides. They are playing next week in the third place playoff games. And Wet Ball says Crumpus and also 30-15 in favour of the Box. Says, okay, so I assume that means that you're back in New Zealand to win this game. And then from there, you're going to back the Springboks over the All Blacks in that case. And we have got there a 45 for New Zealand, 20 for the Argentines. And South Africa wants to join it because they'll win it every year, says Mo. And also we get their greetings, says Roger, welcome in. And don't sleep on England. I predict a slow defensive game plus drop goals, says Gordon Wong. Yeah, it was only later on in that contest last year for the Rugby World Cup final between England and South Africa that we started seeing the tries going free-flowing a little bit. Makazole Mapimpi, Chisel and Colby, of course, both scoring themselves crucial points throughout that game. Don't sleep on England. I know I read that one. A bit tricky for you to stand for our national anthem wearing no pants, Hamish, says Sai. And also we've got there's Rassi bringing the traffic lights to Ireland. Is he going to a coaching, or is he going back to coaching job? And Leinster says Porter. It is the rumour that he might be moving after the World Cup. They are just showing the previous games for Argentina and New Zealand since 2020. Argentina beating the All Blacks 25 points to 15. That was in Sydney. Then from there, New Zealand winning at 38 points to 0, 39 points to 0, and then 36 points to 13. Where was the... there we go. We've got 3 more games now. Argentina beating New Zealand 25 points to 18. So over the last 7 games, we've seen Argentina beat the All Blacks twice. The only problem with Argentina is they are having, they are very slow ball out from the 9. I think Argentina 21, New Zealand 36. Although they have made the change there, Gonzalo Berrano to be starting rather than Thomas Kubeli. So that might be why the ball was a little bit slow. I know that people weren't too impressed with how Kubeli was able to get that ball out, but it does seem like now with the changes that they have made, perhaps that could help them towards a little bit of a quicker backline. The rain, of course, will be that slightly evening factor. And this one, don't bring the bed bugs from France back to South Africa, please, says Nicole. And Vamos Argentina, says Roger, and Ben O'Keefe will defeat England. And it's Rassi going back to coaching. When did he ever leave coaching? Says Mo going back to coaching Leinster, I think they said. And that one, or an overseas team might have been what they were referencing. Rassi is linked to move to Ireland. Not sure what his role is, but Jacques is going with him. They've been mates since their army days. Says Lightbringers, Messi playing he can produce miracles. He is not, but someone who is playing for the Argentines, who does have that real X factor about him, is Mateo Carreras. Out on that wing, he scored himself 3 tries. You're my player of the day, bro, says Pan. And also, we have got there the thumbs down of New Zealand, says Claire. She's not happy about the All Blacks, although one thing that I think a lot of people can't take away from the All Blacks is the fact that after that first win, or after that first loss, up against the French, they have fought back extremely well in this Rugby World Cup. I believe one of the keys for the All Blacks has been Jordie Barrett. Since he has returned, the All Blacks seem to have a lot more stability in their back line, and it does seem to be absolutely crucial for the way that they're able to get that ball out the back, having Jordie Barrett in that midfield. Looking through at this All Blacks lineup, for anyone who hasn't seen it already, Ethan de Groot at number 1, Cody Taylor at number 2, having 100% tackle accuracy last week, working well with those lineouts. And I believe the All Blacks, if they can get themselves a little bit of an early lead, we may even see the All Blacks look to use that rolling maul earlier in this game to try to get those extra points. Tyrell Lomax back at 3, so he did have a bit of an injury near the start of the Rugby World Cup. He did come back, then he re-injured that knee, but was still back ready to go for the future contest. Ethan de Groot, he had a suspension earlier on in this Rugby World Cup competition, but now finds himself back. He is starting at loose head prop, and that combo worked very well at scrum time for the All Blacks. Up against Ireland, Sam Whitelock comes into the starting lineup at number 4. That is to replace Brodie Retallick, who will instead find himself coming off the bench. Scott Barrett slotting in at number 5. He's normally pretty physical round the side of the breakdown, who try and put pressure on Gonzalo Bertrano, try and force that error from the pass. And also Carreras at 10. I believe he will have quite a few defenders rushing up at him to shut him down early, including the 3 in this loose ball trio. Shannon Brazil at number 6. Didn't really do too much wrong in that game up against Ireland. Got himself a line-out turnover, which was absolutely crucial for the AB. Sam Cane at number 7. Close to a man-of-the-match performance. 22 tackles, 2 turnovers, 1. One of the best performances, if not the best, we have seen from Sam Cane in an All Blacks jersey. And then Artie Savia, he will be slotting in as the number 8. He also made a lot of tackles. He also had the 2 turnovers, 1, but he was also able to have those 4 clean breaks alongside a lot of running meters for Savia in that Irish fixture. Scored himself a try as well. A great man to have. And they have 4-pack. Aaron Smith at number 9 with Richie Mo'unga slotting in as the 10. So the same combo the All Blacks have backed throughout this Rugby World Cup. Now we have seen Roygaard and McKenzie as a possible option there, but both men should have been coming off the bench. Instead, though, for this game, Christie and McKenzie will be the 2 making their way off the bench. Jordie Barrett at number 12. Like I mentioned, the stability that he has added to the side since returning is absolutely black and white. It's just a massive, massive help for this All Blacks backline, and it definitely helps the men on his outside. Rico Ioane at 13 had his best game of the Rugby World Cup thus far in the last contest up against the Irish, getting himself a couple try assists, looking very strong throughout the 80 minutes. Mark Delia out on the left wing, that is to come in for Lester Whaiananuku, who has been rested for this contest, so they've got a big decision to make here. If New Zealand do make their way through to the final, do they go with Delia? Do they go with Whaiananuku? Or maybe you have one in the start and then one coming off the bench. Will Jordan out on the right wing. He's looking for that leading try scorer of the competition. He's currently sitting on 5, tied with about 6 other individuals. But the man at the top of the bunch is Damien Pinot. He has got himself 6 tries throughout this Rugby World Cup competition. Although the benefit that the men do have who are behind him is that Pinot is no longer in the Rugby World Cup competition. Beauden Barrett at number 15. Very good game up against the Irish last week. Running and kicking was on point, and we'll be looking to do just that in this game. Up against Los Pumas, we have got another donation, and it's from Minaz. Thank you very much, mate. We play at 80%. We'll win up to Blues. Up to ABs, says Minaz. And there as well, 10 or 15 says MTS. And will the game be live? Yes, sadly, due to licensing, any match footage or audio that we show does get us taken straight off YouTube. But we will be doing our absolute best to give you the play-by-play of what is happening in this contest. It's going to be a very entertaining one. Anyone looking for the option of being able to watch this game, be sure to check out the Rugby World Cup website. You'll be able to see your best bet of being able to watch the contest when it does take place. What time is kickoff? It is kicking off in 40 minutes time, ladies and gents. So we are extremely close to the start of the semi-final. It's going to be a massively awesome game to watch. So far, a brilliant final. I want South Africa versus New Zealand to have an easier victory. I want Argentina to win tonight. Sorry, Hamish, but you understand, I think. Says Burning Lash. I mean, it's all well and good wanting the easier opposition per se for a Rugby World Cup final in the way that you've worded it, but surely to be the best, you've got to beat the best is normally a motto that I've heard a lot of Springbok supporters and a lot of teams around the world go by. So I feel like they won't want what you're calling the easy option. They'll want the best side possible to go head to head with so that they can say, we bet the best of the best in the World Cup final and now we are still champions. So I feel like even though some South Africans may want Argentina because they see it as a slightly easier task, I feel like the ones who want that massive, I guess, extra motivation and extra credibility want to take down the side that will be sitting number 2 in the world at the time, and that is the New Zealanders. Does that make sense? I wonder who the French crowd are supporting. Now, for sure, not England says, I am nutty. And also, we have got their French fried says, okay. And man, don't know much about rugby, but I can see you are professional. Thanks for all the information. Cheers. And Vamos Argentina says Emilio there. And 3 Barrett tries says AMX. And Hamish could be an auctioneer says Justin. And also Suckers says Hua. And there as well. And ref wins this game says DJ Spuds. Now, anyone wondering about the referee? It is Angus Gardner in charge of this contest. And we will, of course, be keeping you informed of what is happening throughout the game. I'm hoping he doesn't have to have a huge role throughout this contest. Excellent, the Kiwi lad. Good luck, says Ernesto. Was the player of the tournament thus far. Says Chris, I'll be honest, if Ireland was still in the competition, you've got to make a bit of an argument for Bundy Arki. He has been sensational. And number 12, Ebenezebeth for the South Africans has been looking extremely strong as well throughout this competition. For New Zealand, their best players probably got to be the Savia or Will Jordan, perhaps would probably be the 2 at the top of the list for a lot of people. And then for the Argentines, if you had to pick one player who's really stepped up, I mean, Emiliano Boffelli has looked relatively strong. And then also maybe Mateo Carreras could put in an argument for him as well. And also, it's odd that the Irish and the French have been knocked out. And now nobody mentions the latest rankings, says Lightbringer. I predict one card for head-on-head contact, says Jimbo. And stadiums, Fiji Stadium is bad for that level competition, says Shannon. We've actually talked about it quite a bit in the past about maybe having the Sevens take their way or make their way to Fiji alongside the Super Round of the Super Rugby Pacific competition. Of course, Super Rugby only about 4 months away from starting back up, ladies and gentlemen. We will be covering that competition on the channel, even though we did get a copyright strike for the final last year. That was slightly unfortunate, seeing as before that stage we had covered 90% of the competition. I was Kirsten Barrett when he was under that ruck. Abakalaha has the same, has to take some of the blame, says Porter. And told you 1,000 times, only 2 powerhouses in World Rugby, South Africa and New Zealand. South Africa win, Creel should be the player of the tournament. He's also done extremely well. Jesse Creel at number 13, definitely because a lot of people going into this Rugby World Cup wanted to see Kane and Moody as that outside centre rather than Creel. But yeah, Creel's just stepped up and said, you know what, I'm still here. Give me a chance, and that's what they've gone with. Etzebeth been good. Dialende was good versus Scotland, Ireland, and France, says Justin. And also the Kiwi lads is the best there ever was, says Denovan. I don't know about that, but I will definitely take the compliment. Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciated. They are just showing at the ground. There is still a little bit of drizzle falling. It's supposed to get a bit better as we get closer to the starting whistle of this contest. Porter has to take all the blame. He went too soon, impatient. If New Zealand doesn't win first half, they're in danger because the All Blacks have been horrible in the second half, except in the last match, says Denzel. And YouTube's copywriting policy is tepid at best. A corrupted at worst, says Mr. Novel Bro. And also New Zealand is going to run away with this match, says Michael Doble Sr. But yeah, this game, it's going to be great. Do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who you think will be the first try scorer in this contest. We look through at the All Blacks starting lineup. Now we will look through at the Pumas here again. Ethan de Groot, that is not a Puma. That is, of course, the ABs. Here we go. Thomas Gachot at number 1. Julia Montoya as the captain, slotting in at number 2. Now, the amount of impact he has had for Argentine rugby over the last 3 or 4 years has been absolutely evident. His line-out throws are great. He's got Augustin Crevi to back him up off the bench if anything does go wrong, but his work in the breakdown as well is sensational. Hardly misses a tackle throughout any competition that he does take part in. Francisco Gomez Cordella at number 3, keeping his spot in the starting lineup here. Guido Petty and Thomas Lavanini will be the same locking duo as they did have in that game up against Wales. Juan Martin Gonzalez at number 6, Marcos Crema at the number 7 And then Fukando Isa, who came in due to the injury of Pablo Matera, has been doing very well, getting those running meters, also putting in some big hits. He's going head-to-head with Adi Savia here, so that will certainly be an entertaining one. Gonzalo Bertrano, the one change that Argentina have decided to make in their starting lineup, that is rather than Tomas Kubeli, wasn't quite getting that ball out the back line the way that the coaches wanted. So Bertrano comes back in to partner with Santiago Carreras, who has already had a huge amount of minutes at number 10 throughout this Rugby World Cup and throughout 2023. Santiago Chochabarez will be on his outside at number 12. He had a bit of an injury concern, but he is all right to go for this contest. On his outside, Lucio Cinti, so once again, no changes there for the Pumas. Mateo Carreras out on the left wing, has scored quite a few tries throughout this Rugby World Cup. Emiliano Boffelli, who will have the kicking tee, he is out on the right wing, and Juan Cruz Malia at number 15 to close out this Pumas starting lineup. When you look through at the players that they've got, they certainly have potential to do well in this contest. It is just putting it together for that 80 minutes to possibly walk their way to a Rugby World Cup final. I like Pollard more than Libok, says Claire, and also AB's more to score first, says Jimbo, and also Argentina 20, New Zealand 18. Well, I should mention anytime I believe Argentina have beaten New Zealand, they have scored 25 points in their contest. They did it the first time ever when they beat the New Zealanders in Australia. Then they went on to beat them in 2022 in New Zealand, getting the 25 points on the ball. What's your earliest rugby memory, Hamish? Says, cool story, bro. I remember, international-wise, I'm not too sure. I went to a game once when I was a lot younger, and I think it was Crusaders Highlanders, or it might have actually been Otago Canterbury. And in that game, at the end of it, Dan Carter was kicking the ball into the stands. They had about 10 or so merchandise balls. I should mention, not just the actual ball. He wasn't bored and just having a few boots, but yeah, he was kicking it into the stands, had me All Blacks beanie on, and I went, hey Dan, can I have a ball? Kicked it straight at me. Unfortunately, just fell short in terms of falling between my feet and the seat in front of me, and then the guy who was like 40 reaches down, grabs the ball and says, thanks very much for coming, and I did not get that ball. So that was unfortunate, but that is my earliest rugby memory, not getting a ball signed by Dan Carter. And I hope this is not a one-way game, says Mark, and I want to watch a rugby, bro. This sucks. Says Ollie, well, you are going to have to get a subscription for either Rugby Pass TV, Stan Sport, Sky Sport. What else is there? There's a whole heap of other options, though, to be able to watch these contests. You just have to know where to watch, but your best option to be able to watch it is to go on the Rugby World Cup website and then see exactly where your options are for being able to see it. I always come before the game, says Ardell. And also we have got there, good to see you, bro. Let's go the All Blacks, says Paul Thompson. And outset must have hit hard, says Dark Scar Flame. As Foster coming up to Ireland, or coming to Ireland too. We are the Real Madrid of rugby, says Porter Porter. And also cool rugby story, Irish. Too dangerous in Argentina, says Krampus. Go to the World Cup in Argentina. That'd be a mean trip. And then subscription or VPN, yep. So there's a few options to be able to watch it. Talia's my best friend's son. I told him to tell him off for getting up to mischief in France. Yeah, of course, we should mention that Talia out last week for disciplinary issues. He's back now, though, for this contest, and we'll want to have a real impact throughout it. Again, get it right. We're number 2 at the moment. Ireland number 4. And also, we've got there, Talia reminds me of Lomu. And the TAB 8-1 odds for Argentina. Yeah, they are expected to be big, heavy underdogs for this game, but that does not mean it's not possible for them to get themselves a victory. Did you meet Dan Carter personally? I did not know, because I was up in the stands. So yeah, I didn't get that ball though, which was slightly unfortunate. Kia kaha Kiwis, says the artist in there as well. Now we have talked through the starting lineups quite a bit, of course, but we should mention the benches once more. Augustin Crevi at number 16 for the Argentines, Joel Scalevi at 17, and then Eduardo Bachot as the number 18, Matthias Alemano and Rodrigo Bruni at number 20, so bringing quite a bit of physicality later on in the contest. Alemano, I think, could be one of the keys for Argentina when it comes to later on getting those line-out steals, because the more possession you can end up with in a rainy game of rugby, the absolute better off you will be overall. Bazin Velez, the replacement 21, so like I mentioned, Thomas Kubeli went from the starting lineup up against Wales to nowhere to be seen in this game up against the Kiwis. Nicolas Sanchez, number 22, scoring that last-minute try in the game up against Wales, alongside getting a couple of his kicks over at the most crucial moments. Matthias Moroni at 23 to close out this Argentine. 23 for New Zealand, Samisoni Taukei'aho. He makes his way into the side to replace Dane Coles, who more than likely, depending on how Taukei'aho goes, will be an option for 16 in the next match. If the New Zealanders, of course, make their way to the final, we might see either Taukei'aho or Coles off the bench. But Cody Taylor, for me at the moment, with the way he's been playing, has got himself firmly selected as the number 2. Tamaiti Williams at 17 and Fletcher Null as the number 18. Brodie Retallick, who was in the starting lineup last week, finds himself coming off the bench for this matchup. Dalton Pavalier at number 20. Finley Christie at number 21. Still the big question mark for a lot of fans, wondering why it is not Roygaard. Foster says it's for his defence, but he didn't decide to use him in the last contest late in the game when the All Blacks had to defend with everything they had. So how much does he really back that defence of Finley Christie is the question. Damian McKenzie at number 22 and Anton Leonard-Brown, he will be at 23. Now McKenzie also didn't get the chance off the bench in the last fixture. Leonard-Brown though having a real impact, which is why he keeps his spot at number 23. Looking at the table though, for how these stages or how these sides did sit in their group stage, New Zealand finishing second on the table. In Pool A, they were able to be ahead of the Italians. It came a little bit closer than some expected by the end, but France getting themselves the win over the Italians, sitting at the top of the bunch on 18. But I should mention, they are no longer in the Rugby World Cup. The same can be said about Pool B. Number 1 qualifier Ireland, gone from the competition. The Springboks, though, they are still intact. They have got their challenge up against the English in their semi-final tomorrow. For Pool C, Wales were at the top of the bunch. Gone. They are out of the competition. England, the only side who sat at the top of their table that are still in the comp. Argentina, they managed to get themselves the win over the Welsh, so they are still in the comp as well. So it's interesting though, because it just shows no matter how good you go on a group stage, it's that next game that is the most important. Good to see you, bro. Let's go All Blacks, says Paul. And they don't always come before the game, says Ardil or Andil. And yeah, it is greatly appreciated you all being here just before the kickoff of this contest. We are less than 30 minutes away now, ladies and gentlemen, for this matchup. And kia kaha Kiwis. And also we have got there, someone's going to try to live stream again. I get shut off for copyright, says Mobla. And also De Groot should have been rested, says Undeli. So in that case, would you have gone with Tamaiti Williams in the starting lineup? Or would you have gone with Ofa Tuangafasi? Do let me know. We have Gadera all the way from South Africa. Our biggest All Black supporter, Romano Peterson. Our All Blacks will win comfortably, says Romano. And also we have Gadera 20 points for Argentina, 18 New Zealand. Who wants to get inside my crystal ball, says Black Stallion. And go All Blacks, proud supporter from South Africa. Good morning, Hamish. No draw option, says Mr. JJ. Not for this one, no. Although it can end as a draw after the 80 minutes. But then from there, they will have all of the extra time options that they have got for this World Cup, which we have not seen as of yet. We've seen one draw in the competition. That was Portugal versus Georgia. But other than that draw, we have not seen any games get to that stage of that close. Although, France versus South Africa, it was pretty close in that last game. What time is kickoff, says Ernest, so it is going to be in 27 minutes time. So 8 a.m. New Zealand time, 8 p.m. in the UK, and 9 p.m. if you are in South Africa. We have got there Namibia versus Romania is needed, says Xander. And also it was flooded with Irish tears, says Crumpus. This is unfair grouping. Argentina don't deserve to go to the semis. It should be New Zealand, France, South Africa, England. Do you agree? Says Aiden. I mean, the way that they did the World Cup draw was, of course, going to be lopsided from the get-go. World Rugby themselves have admitted that they got it very wrong in terms of how they should have done it compared to how they did. They're going to be changing it in the future. The bus is broken down, says Eric. In there as well, says, oh, no, they did get there, which is good news for both sides. What does the great Andy Farrell need to do to break the quarterfinal hoodoo? Because he's a brilliant leader and it's done us proud, says Porter Porter. Yeah, you wonder whether or not it's like a mental thing for the Irish. But the other side of things, of course, is if they came up against, I would say, 6 out of the other 8 sides in the quarterfinals, they may have actually ended up getting themselves through. It's just the fact that they faced up against the All Blacks, who could end up being eventual finalists, if not winners, of this World Cup competition. And thanks again, Hamish. And tomorrow, I'll be glued to the TV as a South African. My nerves, says Gail there. And also, we're there. What's the score? The game has not taken place as of yet, but we are just around the corner from its starting, ladies and gents. We have got a new channel member as well, Luann. Thank you very much for hitting that membership button. And live from South Africa, says Harold. And there as well. And good luck to your team, Hamish, says Ockert. And as you guys know, I will be completely impartial throughout this one. And it's going to be an entertaining game. That is one thing I'm sure of. Even though there is rain, it may try and slow the game down a bit, but I still think that both of these sides will be going out all guns blazing, trying to keep that tempo flowing throughout the 80 minutes. And when the start of the game, says Gilbert, it is in 25 minutes time. So very close to the start of this one. We have got there Sir Alex Stewart, says Master, and also the Bok says it was there from Roger. And hey, who do you support if New Zealand don't win? Argentina, England, or South Africa, says Aiden. Well, we will be calling it impartially throughout the Rugby World Cup. I have said from the start of the competition that I believe it will be South Africa who walk away with the trophy. But I did say it would be a New Zealand-South Africa final, so it's a tricky one to predict in that regard. And Hamish, are you going to do the Cricket World Cup after the Rugby World Cup finishes? We may be doing a few of the Cricket World Cup games. We're hoping New Zealand go far in that comp because we are possibly going to be covering it with a couple family members. And there as well who we have done cricket with. Who's Pumas, says Aiden. That is Argentina. Los Pumas is their nickname. And a lot of their side, you know, they do play like Pumas. When they need to, they are quick. They are dangerous on attack. And they will be looking for a massive upset here. Fozzie must ban from coaching. He might blow it, says Enzo. And also that New Zealand versus South Africa. And both teams will be tied by then, says Undeli. And don't underestimate the Pumas. They get a feeling during the game they can win. They are mostly unstoppable, says Yako. Exactly right. If New Zealand don't run away with this game early and Argentina are still in the hunt, that is when Argentina are the most dangerous. If you keep them within 10 points throughout any stage of the fixture, definitely with that last 20 minutes or so, if Argentina are not completely out, that is when they are normally able to fight back and get themselves victories. When the games start, says Gilbert, it is still 24 minutes till the game, Gilbert. And you're awesome, Hamish, says Stormy. Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciate it. I'm watching from Morrinsville, says Luann. And there, sorry, I'm new to rugby. I just watched 2019 World Cup, and this one, I'm so new, says Aiden. No worries at all. So, yeah, pretty much Argentina nicknamed Pumas, Springboks. They are in the next game up against the English, and of course the ABs, or the All Blacks. And this game, are you South African, says Gustav? I am not, no. I am from New Zealand, and it is currently 7:37 a.m. here in Kiwi land. Your pants are on fire, Peter, says Eric J. And also, sorry, bro, I'm supporting the Argentinians, says Bruce. And did Eddie Jones get fired? I don't think they've fired him as of yet. He's still in talks with Japanese rugby about getting that job, so it will be very intriguing to see how that situation does go for Australian rugby, because they went for Eddie Jones. And they said he's going to be able to turn it around for us. And all Eddie Jones did was take their money, get them knocked out the earliest they ever have in a Rugby World Cup, and then pretty much try and walk away afterwards. Be cool to hear you commentating alongside Uncle Nisbo in the future, mate. Great work as always, Hamish, says Asher. Thank you very much. And is New Zealand's best player Wayne Barnes playing, says Anton O'Neill. He is not, fun fact. It is instead going to be the refereeing panel of Angus Gardner, Nick Berry, also in there James Dolman, Carl Dixon, I should say, and Ben Whitehouse as the Temo. We have got a new member on the channel. It is Daniel. Thank you very much, mate. A great commentary. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. How are you going? We'll match the six. Bless you. How are going? We'll match the Six Nations. Will I do the Six Nations matches on the channel? Because if that is the case, then yes, we are covering all the Six Nations on the channel. Hi, Hamish. Looking forward to a good game. Says Tang, go the mighty All Blacks, says Joey in the chat. And Eddie is trying to jump off a sinking ship. And we have also got the donation from Michelle, who has said thanks to the All Blacks in the box. Hamish, says Michelle. And there as well. But they are just showing the Stade de France still reigning for before this contest. And I assume that that is the way it is going to be staying throughout a majority of the start. And I, Hamish, please say hi to my wife, Monique. I love you, babe. Says Elias. So shout out to you, Monique. And also, how good are Australia in rugby? Not great at the moment, but they have shown potential in the past, which I think is why it's so frustrating for some Australian supporters, because they just haven't looked like that same Aussie side. I'm about to sneeze, which is why I'm off to the side. One moment. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Back from the sneezing. France has donated as well. Do we have a quorum in the chat without Stalin Chloe? At least we have a Krampus, says France. And also hi from South Africa, says Brennan. Not sure who to support, but waiting for amazing rugby. Yeah, I'm hoping it is going to be a very entertaining game because we have already seen throughout the Rugby World Cup quarterfinals, I feel like we were absolutely spoiled with what we saw in those playoff games. And now the expectation is still there for these semis, although the odds are stacked against the underdogs for these matchups. We have got there, that's water bottle refilled, says Kerr. And also cheering on from Sweden, says Giron, and who is New Zealand's best player. I honestly feel like in this contest, Will Jordan's going to be crucial, but I think it's going to be that loose forward trio for the ABs that's able to really choose where this game goes and how this game does end up being played, because they cannot afford to take their foot off the gas up against an Argentine side who are brutal when they are on attack, and when they get phase after phase after phase, it's extremely hard to stop their momentum. Barrett's fan from America says Saban, and also we've got the Australia currently trash source. I'm Australian, and it's depressing, to be honest. But when the option is the rugby league, there's no choice. Yeah, unfortunately, with the way that it is shaping up in Australia, like rugby league is going to keep on growing. But the problem is rugby union, they don't seem to be putting enough emphasis on trying to get people to start playing rugby union young, and that is because the attraction of the NRL and the attraction of playing rugby league is just much higher when you're in Australia. We have got there, bro, you should be on TV, my bro. You have the voice, says Joe. Thank you very much, mate. And Undeli has said, Amish, it's famous here, and let's hope you rip your tie off again, says Michael. And it would be amazing to see Argentina to make it through underdogs. We have seen miracles in this Rugby World Cup, says Pulse. In fact, we have seen quite a few upsets throughout the Rugby World Cup. We saw Portugal beating the Fijians. That is currently the largest underdog upset that we have seen in this competition. Alongside that, I believe the next biggest was actually Fiji with their win over Australia, and then the Argentines with their win over Wales was the third largest, happening relatively recently in the Rugby World Cup world. How do England produce good athletes in every major sports? Cricket, football, and rugby, says Ada. I think they're very good at getting people to play sport young in England, I have found. In terms of, it's a little bit similar to New Zealand, how when you're in school, you're normally playing at least one sport on the weekend, whether that's rugby, cricket, football, basketball, just something to keep you moving. And then when they do decide to start jumping into football, that is a massive benefit as well, I should mention, because the nations that do a lot of football do seem to be the ones that do have a lot of skilled individuals when it comes to athletically. Is that a word? Athleticism? That word? That is a word, isn't it? It just doesn't sound right. Maybe my tongue was in the wrong place. We have got there, will you be streaming? Will the game be streamed live on YouTube? Sadly, you won't be able to find the game on YouTube, and if it is on YouTube anywhere, it will get taken down pretty much straight away by World Rugby. But the best option is to go onto their Rugby World Cup website. Then from there, you will be able to see exactly where you can find the contest. So yeah, I'd highly recommend doing that. As the option Amish, if Eddie Jones knows, and the journalists ask him about stuff about the team, does he say, look, I want to talk to my players? Says Padraig. And why is Ireland and France still in the top four? They didn't make it to the semis, says Morning Grange. Well, here's a fun fact. If England win their game up against South Africa, they will be in the top four in the Rugby World rankings. If Argentina win their game up against New Zealand, they get extremely close, although I do believe they only jump up to about 6th or 5th on the overall rankings. For that, and y'all cannot hear me tear away from this Gloucester-Newcastle game, says it was there from Scrum Lads. It also says South Africa New Zealand final, then it doesn't matter who wins. It's on Freeview in New Zealand, says Jordan there. So yeah, there are options in New Zealand for being able to watch this game live, ladies and gentlemen. Boring kicking game Argentina, says Peter P here. I don't think that has been at all what they've done throughout this Rugby World Cup. They have actually been quite an aggressive side when it comes to their attack. Yes, like, I guess, historically they've got that name to them in terms of looking for a lot more kicking, but I believe their best plan of attack here up against New Zealand is to play that running game and try and do very well. But these are the games that we're seeing from Argentina. As you can see, a lot of tries being scored over the last few weeks. 27 points to 10 in their game up against the Argentines, up against the English. Those two sides still in the competition for the semi-finals, losing it by 17, but not conceding a single try throughout that matchup then. Argentina versus Samoa. 19 points to 10, managing to get themselves a gritty, grindy win over a physical Samoan outfit, winning over the Chileans 59 points to 5, and then their game up against Japan to close out the Rugby World Cup group stage fixtures, 39 points to 27, 29 points to 17. They're winning the quarterfinals over the Welsh, doing extremely well in that department as well. For Pool A and the New Zealanders, they were defeated in their first contest of the group stage. That was to the French, who were looking very good up until those quarterfinals. And to be fair, even in their loss to the Springboks, they did look like a very solid team, just narrowly missing out on the chance to progress. New Zealand winning their next game up against the Namibians, 71 points to 3, 96 points to 17, the highest scoring game of the Rugby World Cup thus far, with 113 points in total, 73 points to 0. Their next game up against Uruguay. So going into that game up against Ireland, they were in a position of scoring around 250 points in their last 3 games, but they were still able to get themselves that sneaky win over Ireland, 28 points to 24. Sam Whitelock having to get over the ball after 30 plus phases to help New Zealand walk away with that victory. But one thing is for sure, if the game is anything like that one was, this is going to be an awesome game at the Stade de France. Showers at the moment are the weather conditions. Now, I should mention earlier on it was raining, still raining a little bit currently, but it looks like maybe the rain will lighten up as the game does progress on. 15 degrees Celsius the temperature, but I do thank you all very much for being here, and thank you very much to Rake for hitting that super sticker as well. Are you wary of South Africa and what makes South Africa formidable opponents? Says Gustav. I mean, South Africa are always going to be right up there in terms of what they've been able to do throughout Rugby World Cups, as well as what they've been able to do throughout the last little while in international rugby. Is this ball live or commentary only? It is commentary only, unfortunately. Due to licensing on YouTube, any match footage or audio that we do try and show would get us taken straight down. So that is why we just do the radio style commentary. Hamish, would you like your first brandy to be a single or double shot with Coke? Says Xander, well, I do like Fanta more than Coke, to be honest, but they are just showing the starting lineup once more for the All Blacks as the two sides are just about to make their way out onto the park, ladies and gentlemen. So I will ask you the question once more. Who do you believe will be scoring the first try in this contest? The exact player. Now, Will Jordan, he is definitely a good option for New Zealand to be able to run it. And Mark Talia, he has been able to do it earlier on. Are you nervous, Hammy? Says Johan. I'll be honest, I'm actually pretty chilled out at the moment. But I think that's because the quarterfinals last week were that intense that until we get into the kickoff and until we start to get that feeling of both sides have a good chance of winning it, I feel like until we get to there again, my nerves, I feel like I'm a cool collector customer for now. But that's just due to what the quarterfinals did to a lot of rugby supporters, having them on the edge of their seats, heart rates bursting through their chests. This is the Argentine lineup, ladies and gentlemen. Thomas Cachot at number 1. Julio Montoya will be at 2. And Francisco Gomez Cortella to slot in as the number 3 for the Pumas. In this contest, Guido Petty and Thomas Lavanini, they will be the locking duo. So unchanged front 5 for what they did have in their last contest. Juan Matan Gonzalez definitely could be a key for Argentina in this matchup, with Marcos Crema, the aggressor, and number 7, and Fukando Iza, the man who came in for Pablo Matera's injury, played very well in that last game up against the Welsh. Gonzalo Bertrano, the lone change in the starting lineup for Argentina. That is to replace Tomas Kubeli, who has been left completely out of this Argentine team for the semi-finals. Santiago Carreras at number 10. That combination of Bertrano and Carreras has been used throughout 2023 and 2022. So should have a bit of chemistry there. Santiago Chochabarez at number 12, and Lucio Cinti on his outside at number 13. Mateo Carreras already has 1 hat-trick throughout this Rugby World Cup. Emiliano Boffelli out on the other wing. A very important part of the Argentine game plan in terms of that kicking as well as the running game. Under the high ball as well, there aren't many better than Emiliano Boffelli, and Juan Cruz Malia to close out the starting lineup for the Pumas. He is starting at number 15. I hope that didn't frustrate you guys too much, me sitting here looking like I was about to drink, just to pretty much not drink until afterwards. But for the All Blacks in the starting lineup, Ethan de Groot at number 1, Cody Taylor 2, and Tyrell Lomax Close out the front row. Now, Cody Taylor, 100% accuracy in his tackling last week alongside some brilliant lineouts. Tyrell Lomax, Ethan de Groot. Last game was the first time we had seen those two back together since really the start of the Rugby World Cup, mainly due to suspensions on one side, injury on the other. And now, the combo is back. Sam Whitelock in number 4 comes into the starting lineup to replace Brodie Retallick, who is going to be off the bench instead for this game, and Scott Barrett, the first of 3 Barretts in the starting 15. He is there. At number 5, Shannon Frizzell. At number 6, Sam Cane, number 7, after a tremendous performance in the last game, making 22 tackles. Sam Cane won the toss for the ABs. Referee Angus Gardner wishing both sides luck as they are about to make their way out of the tunnel. And Artie Savia at number 8, man of the match performance, fantastic player. He is there to close out the All Blacks 4-pack. Aaron Smith at number 9 with Richie Mo'unga at 10, so no changes for the All Blacks in that department from what they did have in the last contest. Geordie Barrett and Rico Ioane, a midfield combination that has now found momentum. Ioane had been out of form, Barrett returning from injury within the last few weeks, and since then, seems like they are starting to find some good momentum. Mark Talia out on the left wing to replace Lester Whaiananuku has been left out of the 23-man side. Will Jordan out on the right wing, hunting that number 1 spot on the try scorers list. He's currently sitting second equal. Needs a couple more tries here to get ahead of Damien Pinot, and then Bowden Barrett at number 15 to close out this All Black side, which does look extremely strong. Indeed, we have got a lot of messages, including a Kerr 5 gifted membership. Thank you very much, Kerr, for your support on the channel once more, and also a bit earlier on to gift 1 extra membership as well. I should mention Mateo Carreras to score first, and also I heard the weather looking black out there. Says Tuda, yeah, it's looking a little bit rough at the moment, mainly due to that rain, although it's only expected to be showers now throughout the 80 minutes rather than the rain that we saw before the game did kick off. So hopefully the rain will behave itself throughout this Rugby World Cup semi-final. And I should mention there is still another semi-final to take place tomorrow that will be between England and South Africa, a rematch of the Rugby World Cup final. Should be absolutely incredible. We've got another 5 gifted memberships from Kerr there, and then from them, Minaz has got the $2 donation, and Jimbo gifting the 5 memberships as well. So that's already 15, or in fact 16 gifted memberships on this live stream. Thank you all very much for helping out the channel. Fukando Isa, like I mentioned, he is coming in due to the injury of Pablo Matera, and you know how much that man would have loved to be there for these two sides. It looks like the All Blacks, it is just going to be Fukando Isa making his way onto the field here due to his 50th cap for Los Pumas. Whoever loses doesn't go home, says Royal. That is true, although they do lose their chance of getting the Rugby World Cup. Instead, they will be playing off for the bronze medal. And thanks, says Xander. And now, watch Hamish, long time no see, says Darren Smith. Welcome back, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well. And Will Jordan first try in the 3 minutes, says Johan. Although I should mention that for both of these sides, they have not conceded a huge amount of tries throughout the early stages of their Rugby World Cup games. So far, New Zealand are yet to concede a try within the first 20 minutes, and Argentina have only conceded 1 try within the first 20 minutes of any of their contests, and I believe that might have actually been to Chile, if I am not wrong. We've got 5 more gifted memberships from Kira as well, so thank you very much, mate, for all of your generosity. Johnny Sexton, Antoine Dupont in a steering competition, who will break first, says Tuta. And also Wichaka says Adel or Andel. We are just about to find out, ladies and gentlemen. Bunny White said, oi lads, is this legit? We will not be showing the footage of the game due to licensing. It does get taken down straight away by YouTube, but we will be doing the live commentary all throughout the fixture, letting you know exactly what is happening out there on the field. We can see there Julio Montoya, the captain of the Argentines, looking raring to go. We need to come to South Africa so we can show you Brandy and Bry, says Xander there. I mean, I would like to come to South Africa at some stage within the next World Cup cycle, I would say, before 2027, but we are just about to hear the Argentine national anthem once more, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone who hasn't already seen their starting lineup, it is looking pretty strong for their side. Thomas Gashaw, Julio Montoya, and Gomez Cordella, the front row. Guido Pitti and Thomas Lavanini in the locking duo, and Juan Martin Gonzalez, Marcos Kremer, and Fukando Isa for his 50th game will be there at number 8. No changes in the 4-pack, and in fact, only one in the back line. That is Gonzalo Bergrano coming into the starting lineup rather than Thomas Kubeli, who is missing for this fixture. Santiago Carreras at 10, Santiago Chocobares and Lucio Cinti in the midfield combo. Mateo Carreras at 11, Emiliano Boffelli at number 14, and then Juan Cruz Malia to close out the starting lineup. He is there at number 15. We have got there in the chat as well. Peacock plugged me in. Yeah, but Argentina play weak teams. That's why they conceded less tries. Says George. I mean, a stat is still a stat, though. The stat doesn't tell you who they versed. The stat just says at this point, that is the correct stat. South Africa conceding 1 try in their first 20 minutes as well, I should mention. And then alongside that, England conceding no tries in their first 20 minutes. Amazing and nearly at 41,000. Well done, says Darren Smith. Yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are currently only 183 away from 41,000. So if you do want to help us get there, hit that subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. We can see the passion on the face of the Argentine players as they have now finished singing the national anthem. They know it is almost game time. And this will be one of the most important games we have seen for Argentina in the last, I would honestly say the last 4 years, if not longer, for them in terms of the most important game to go up against the All Blacks in a semi-final of a Rugby World Cup. Beauden Barrett standing alongside his brothers Scott and Geordie, all three of them in the starting lineup with the All Blacks here. De Groot, Cody Taylor and Lomax, the front row for the AB. Sam Whitelock into the starting lineup rather than Retallick, who comes off the bench, and Scott Barrett there as the number 5. Shannon Frizzell, Sam Kane and Artie Savia, an unchanged loose forward trio for the All Blacks, and all three of those men doing their part in the game. Up against the Irish, Aaron Smith and Richie Mo'unga, the 9-10 combo. Geordie Barrett and Rico Ioane in the centres, who both played very well in their last quarterfinal. Mark Talia into the starting lineup rather than Whainā Nuku, so a good test for him to show whether or not he should be there in the final or the third place game for the All Blacks next week. Will Jordan, number 14, sitting on 5 tries throughout this Rugby World Cup, alongside Damien McKenzie and Lester Whainā Nuku, the other two ABs who are sitting on the 5, and then Beauden Barrett at number 15 to close out the to close out the 15 for the ABs there as well. We have got there, if you had to choose New Zealand winning FIFA or Rugby World Cup, which one would you choose? Says, I mean, winning the FIFA World Cup would be massive for New Zealand, of course, but at the end of the day, the more likely of the two would be the Rugby World Cup to take place in the near future. Which Barrett is the oldest, says Lightbringer. I want to say it's Scott, followed by Beauden, then Geordie's the baby, I think, out of the grouping. Or the youngest, anyway. We have got their national anthems, like nice one, Cyril, says Eric J. And also we have there, Hamish, will you do the haka? I will not know, George. I will be sitting here watching on, see the All Blacks do it just before. Bodie is the oldest, is he? So it's Bodie, then Scott, then Geordie. I know Geordie's the youngest out of the Barrett brothers who play in the All Blacks. So I might have got the other two round the wrong way. Why Barrett at 15 and not 10 anymore, says Xander. That is the position that they have decided he is better off being in. And to be fair to him, Beauden Barrett, he has found some decent form throughout this Rugby World Cup competition at number 15. And it was questioned at the start whether or not maybe McKenzie would be the better option for them. We've got 10 gifted memberships from Kerr. I didn't even know you could do 10, Kerr. So thank you very much, mate. Well, you support the All Blacks, just about to do the haka. Then Scooter, then Geordie. Says Scrum last year, I was expecting New Zealand to put 50 on the board, says Darren. And there, get in there, Hamish, says Kaz. And AB's got this, in my opinion, says Nicholas. It's going to be a big test for them, though. They cannot underestimate what Argentina can do, because, like we've said, if Argentina are close in a game, that is when they are the most dangerous. But Aaron Smith leading the haka here. And hello from South Africa, says Colleen. Welcome and hope you are doing extremely well. And happy Submiss, says Scrum last there. And this is going to be tough, says Elementonics. And Mo'unga murdered Island at 10, deserves the jersey, says Jimbo. And I'm curious to see how the New Zealanders use their bench, because we didn't see Finlay Christie and we didn't see Damien McKenzie in the last two contests. In the last contest. Beware of Greeks bearing gift memberships, says Eric J. And I, Hamish, hope you had a great week. Good luck. And also we have got there, Don't Blink Pumas doing the haka, says Francois. And this is something they have faced multiple times in their illustrious battles with the Kiwis, facing off with the haka, the youngsters. This is where Matera is normally the one that everyone looks at. And hello from Waimatis, says 18 Stag. Hello. Do I know you? I might know you if you are from Waimati. Small place, not many people about. And I all enjoy the test match. Says Michael, and also we've got their Springboks never cheat, Yako. Says Darren there, but the haka has been done now, ladies and gentlemen. So the semi-final is about to be underway. And haka time. And we intimidate them with our haka. And also, do we really have to have the haka? I think it's a damn cheek, says, cheek, says Joan. And also we have their kia ora from Queensland. And what a haka, the All Blacks are back, says Jimbo. Yeah, they are fired up at the moment. They know that this is an important game, the Waimeti brothers, says Scrumlass there. Savia fired up. As well, getting to do the throat slit, I should mention, for Savia, something that got him in trouble throughout the Super Rugby season. We have got their box support here, hoping for a New Zealand win, and enjoy the rugby all, says Mara. So now, before we get into this kickoff, ladies and gents, of course, do let me know who you think will be the first try scorer in this game for the All Blacks. And not as good as the Monty Python fish slapping dance, says Eric J. And also we got the Hamish emoji. And they're from Kaylin, and also let's go, says Sibosiso, and pin score please, says Denisha. Well, this game just about to kick off, but we will have the try scorers going across the bottom of the screen as well. Still a little bit of rain falling at the game, ladies and gentlemen. So it will mean that there is a slippery ball early on, which is why both sides trying to put as much gripping gel and all sorts on their hands, not allow it to slip through the fingers. Yeah, I've seen the fans quiet this time during the haka, says JP, and try within the first 5 minutes, which is something we've only seen once for either of these sides, conceding one try in the first 20 minutes throughout this Rugby World Cup competition as part of the history of rugby, says Peter Lowe on the All Blacks 56, Argentina 19, says whatever, and also Artie Savi as the first try scorer. Says, Ben, can you show me the live game, please? If you do want to find a way of watching the game, do go on to the Rugby World Cup website. It will have your best options of being able to watch these games. Can't believe it's only 8 days till the final is over. Going to miss your commentary, Amish, and New Zealand to Scott in the first 10 minutes, or to score in the first 10 minutes, although I should mention we've then got the URC on the channel, ladies and gentlemen, sevens as well, so we've got plenty more rugby. You will still be seeing my face over the weekends. Wet ball is still playable, says Xander, and Angus Gardner in charge of this Rugby World Cup semi-final. Big opportunity for the Australian here. Game on, says Binger a number, and also howdy Amish and all the great folks, says Jody Cook, welcome in. Now, right to left is how this game is going to be shaping up for the Pumas in this first half, and we are underway, ladies and gentlemen, for the semi-final of the Rugby World Cup competition. Kicked off long by Argentina, and lining up this one is Bowden Barrett inside of his own 22, kicking off the left boot. Down towards the halfway line, doesn't find touch, and now opportunity for Juan Cruz Malia to charge hard at the All Blacks line. Currently the Pumas 40 metres out from New Zealand's try line. Lucio Cinti in the midfield, going to be dragged down by Ardi Savia. Now Berrano gets it across to the right-hand side. Argentina looking to use this ball early and fast to start this match. I mentioned they had to try and match that tempo of New Zealand. Now Thomas Gasho taken down 22 metres out. Berrano goes back across here. Good tackle made by Cody Taylor. He did make 14 in the last game up against the Irish. Quick hands going to the right-hand side to Emiliano Boffelli. Now Berrano once again goes it off. This time to Thomas Lavanini. New Zealand trying to roll out of the breakdown. Angus Garner says the ball's available. Herreras goes across here to will be Fukando Isa. 50th cap for him. Good phase play from Argentina. Carreras goes across. Moonga has to make the low tackle. This is 10 phases. Back to back to back at the moment for Argentina. Sam Kane makes the tackle there. Now Berrano again goes short to Fucanduiza. De Groot looking for the turnover in the breakdown. Doesn't get it. Now Francisco Gomez Cordella. Argentina up to 14 phases, but yet to break here is New Zealand. Carreras tries to kick him behind, and it goes straight into the hands of Richie Mo'unga. The Argentines, it seemed like they rushed it that little bit. Go for that rather than just continuing to attack. Good evening, Amish. Are you married, says Natasha? I am not, no, but I am dressed for a marriage, or at least dressed for a wedding anyway. After this match, Barra has to get that kick into touch, doesn't get the distance on it that he would have liked, but 2 minutes into this contest, and it's been all Pumas for their attack in the early stages of the fixture. I will mention anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 41,000 subscribers. We are currently 156 away, so if you do want to hit that button, be sure to hit that line out, or hit that subscribe, I should say, rather than the line out. We are about to see the line out, though, from Julian Montoya. The first of the day, gap being closed there by the All Blacks, so getting the warning there from Carl Dixon. We have good there, now we play 80, says Audio. And also a great start by the Pumas, says Michael. Yeah, exactly right. Doing brilliantly, although now Argentina once again will have the ball in hand. Here comes Marcos Crema, tackled by Adi Savia. Burrano going short side to Emiliano Buffelli. Playing an advantage now against the All Blacks. I believe that was 4-3 tackle off the ball. That is against Tyrell Lomax. Speaking of threes, here comes Francisco. Gomez Cordella. Barrett looking for the turnover. Does get it. And they will go back for the original penalty, which will allow the Argentinians their first chance at 3 points. And I mean, shocking. This is going to be a big weekend, or weekend of big games, says On The Fly. And also we have got there, Amish if the Kiwis make the final, are you going to wear a tux? Says Jamaj Jakari. Hopefully I said that correctly. But we will still have the same suit. We might have a different coloured tie, who knows. Might mix it up a little bit. And come on, people. Subscribe, Best Rugby Commentary right here, says Francois. And also show us your socks, man. They're just plain socks, to be honest. There's nothing too... Whoa, I'm very blurry. Yeah, nothing too special. No bias commentary, please. Says Stephen in there. I would say we've done a pretty good job of not being biased throughout the first 3 minutes of this game. Argentina starting extremely quickly, doing brilliantly throughout their first 20 or so phases. We have got there, your commentary is top notch, sir, says Darren. Thank you very much. And also we have got there, I would love to take him down for a tackle, says Natasha Barrett in there. Is that about me? A good show from the Argentinians. Says, for sure, let's go Argentina. And a green tie would look lovely. It would, although I've got a green screen, so it would disappear in that regard. Now Emiliano Buffelli to line up the first kick of the day to give the lead to Argentina after the first 5 minutes of attack. Buffelli from 25 out gets it over, and Argentina take the lead now, ladies and gentlemen. 3 points to 0 in favour of the underdog. Come on, Argentina. And also we've got there, si senor, says, and it was there from Mikhail and rooting for the All Blacks. Would love a Bok and AB's final prediction for this game. I do see the All Blacks getting themselves the victory here. That is not biased, by the way. That is just from previous results that we've seen when these two sides have gone head-to-head. Although, of the last 7 times they have played, Argentina have got themselves 2 wins, which up until then was not the case. New Zealand is going to win, and I'm watching this at 6 a.m. for me in Australia, says Gummy, so it is greatly appreciated you being here nice and early on in the morning. It's going to be kicked high from Bowden Barrett now, down towards the 22. Nicely taken by Argentina in the form of Juan Martin Gonzalez to get pretty much just dropped by his teammates rather than taking him down safely. Now, Thomas Lavanini moving up to 20 metres out. Argentina now have to kick this one towards the touchline. Massive boot from Santiago Shocha. Now going back across to the left-hand side. Bowden Barrett puts the boot up high, looking for the chip and chase, although it's nicely taken at the back by Argentina again in the form of Luciano Cinti. Benjamin has said we can't see the match. What the point in this, dummy? Says Benjamin. Well, that is pretty much the point. If you can't see the match, if you don't have the funds to be able to watch it, or geographically you're unable to watch it, this is what we offer so that you are able to get a little bit of a feel for what is happening in the game. And now Mateo Carreras moving up to 40 metres out from the Argentine line. Definitely the better attacking game has come from Argentina so far. Now Santiago Carreras goes for the up and under of his own. Talia looking to claim it. Doesn't get it for Canduiza now. Driving forward. 40. In fact, it's 30 metres out now. Buffelli moves up to 22 metres from the line. Bowden Barrett on the ball and wins the penalty. In fact, it's not Bowden. It will be the bigger Barrett in Geordie, but not quite the biggest in Scott. But Geordie Barrett gets the win in the breakdown for the All Blacks. But once again, brilliant attack from Argentina. Looking like today's test. We had good contest again, says Michael. And now I'm scared, says Nervous Jack. And also SABC not broadcasting the game, says says Xander. Now Geordie Barrett does kick it into touch. You make it colourful, that's why I'm here. And also can Argentina surprise big animals, says Michael. I mean, at the end of the day, Argentina, the beauty of the betting odds is the fact that Argentina came in as massive underdogs for this game. As you can see, $7.50 underdogs. But that does not mean there's no chance of them being able to walk away with a victory here. So that is the beauty of this Rugby World Cup. We have seen upsets before. We've seen sides beat bigger underdogs and pull off the victory. Look at Fiji versus the Portuguese. We have got there, if the ABs have your energy, the game is theirs, says Susie. Thank you very much. Hugely appreciated. Now we're rolling this one forward. Just that little bit more. New Zealand under the pump, says Krampus. And also the Pumas, says Logie. It's kicked him behind by New Zealand. Oh, Novus. That's going to be a big shot in the jaw of the Argentine. Looking for the offload there. Bowden Barrett goes to Geordie now. Tackled low by Facundo Isa. Ball available. Looks like that is actually Emiliano Boffelli, who has stayed down from the big contact, or the big contact, I should say, that he took. Okay, they're going back for the original penalty to New Zealand, but all eyes on Emiliano Boffelli at the moment and whether or not he's going to be able to continue this game. The crowd are booing. I just tuned in, WDF is going on, says use all. Well, Emiliano Boffelli has stayed down after getting cleaned up. I think it was Mark Talia charging through Boffelli's done a weird little fish flounder with the knee. I think his knee got twisted the wrong way. So it kind of hyperextended. And like Angus Garner said, there's nothing in that. What is rest stop for injured player? Says Mimanil, well, they went back for the original penalty advantage. Are we 8 minutes in? Had some issues with the Chromecast device. Well, you're currently exactly on 8 minutes in this contest. And only threat was Ireland. Are they gone now? Argentina be a walk in the park, says Ghosted. Although throughout this first 8 minutes, New Zealand have looked like the weaker side. Although that is not going to be saying that that's the case throughout the whole. He's from Down Under. Let's focus on the game. Love you, Hamish. Says Natasha in there as well. It's strange that you say that you are not biased, but you're a Kiwi. And also how excited you get when the ABs have the ball, says Jose. I mean, you just have to look through that first phase play, though, that we saw of Argentina. And you'll find it's very similar to when the All Blacks had the ball. It's just more recently that the ABs have had it. They should give you a job commentating. Come on, New Zealand. South Africans want you in the final, a worthy opponent, says Raz. Also watching from Ecuador. Come on, boys, says Fiona. The penalty has been won by New Zealand. Now Geordie Barrett will be looking to kick this one into the corner. All Blacks have not had a huge amount of possession throughout the first little while. How's the spectators at the stadium full? Looks relatively full for this one, at least from the area that I can see behind the players. And also don't think Argentina can keep up with the pace until final whistle. It'll be interesting. I feel like the stop-start would work quite nicely in favour of the Argentines, a country that eats, sleeps and breathes rugby. And also tense first minute, says Bruce, but it's thrown in now. Taken by Sam Whitelock. He was added into the starting lineup to replace Brodie Retallick, who does make his way off the bench. Cody Taylor hanging onto this ball at the back of the rolling maul for New Zealand. Still making metres. They are now 5 metres out from the line, and the penalty advantage in the All Blacks' favour as well. Aaron Smith sitting with the ball at the back. Oh, there's a player really badly busted open for Argentina. Looks like he's taken a cut on the forehead. The ball is out the back for Facundo. In fact, it's going to be Juan Martin Gonzalez who pops up with it. But Facundo Isa, his head is cut open on his forehead. Okay, Angus Garner just giving a bit of a warning to Argentina. You should try to be a commentator for the Six Nations. You would be loved by everyone, Hamish, says Luan. And also, what country are you from? Says Daniel, I am from New Zealand. But as you guys know, we have covered every single game of this Rugby World Cup down the middle. A little bit more discipline is what Angus Gardner asked for. New Zealand now going to be kicking this one for the corner, not going for the 3 points. They want to keep that pace going. Look at that blood, says Gundio. Yeah, it looked like the old school days of the wrestling LA at the blade cut, but he did get it just on the inside of the eyebrow, on the bridge of the nose pretty much. Or close to the bridge of the nose. Anyway, what's up, Hamish Legend? Welcome in. And I'm glad to hear other South Africans here in a Kiwi commentary box. And also the Pumas, says Christo, but now line out throw for Cody Taylor. Should mention once more, both of these sides have only conceded 1 or less tries throughout their first 20 minutes in a Rugby World Cup fixture, although New Zealand now 5 metres out from the line. Argentina defending this one well. It does pop out the back for Aaron Smith with a sniping run. They've got the penalty advantage now, the All Blacks. Sam Kane looking to go for the pick and go around the side of the breakdown. Flattened it out 1 metre short of line. Recycles it to Artie Savia. We know that that man has try-scoring ability, but he's cut down early by Los Pumas. Defence on the goal line. Whitelock fires it back to Barrett. Now Moonga. Cut out pass. Will Jordan with the run-in. And New Zealand score. Oh, I'm turning into a teenage boy. New Zealand score in the first 10 minutes of the contest. It's because I've almost lost my voice, I swear. But Will Jordan scoring. Oh, okay, there's just been the warning that if there are any more penalties down that side of the field or that close to the try line, they are going to be going to the bin for Argentina. We have got the reference from New Zealand. Not quite, no, he's from Australia. And South Africa represent. I wish I could watch the match streaming, says Devia. Depending on whereabouts you are in the world, there might be an option for a free live streaming software or like a live streaming option. So be sure to go on the Rugby World Cup website. You'll be able to see exactly how it does go. And Hamish, you're the master predictor. Says audio, yeah, we did pick Will Jordan to score the first try in this fixture. And luckily, we did get it right. Puberty just kicked in, says Rodney. Well, it's about time. I am 24 almost, so, you know, it's got to happen at some stage. And we have got there, I'll please not announce the try before, Hamish. And also we have got there more tries loading, and New Zealand is going home, says Sean. And also try time. And howdy, Hamish, is going to be the final, says Jody. Although, that's the thing. We are going to be calling it down the middle. The ref is showing his bias, says Charles. I mean, Argentina giving away multiple infringements just out from their own try line, though. They do end up with that warning. We have got there All Blacks all day, says Nya. And also come on the Pumas, says Cristo there. But it's kicked off high by Santiago Herreras. Now, Argentina had the best of the first 5 minutes. They need to make sure they get a turnover relatively soon here. And I believe it was Julio Montoya almost getting that turnover in the breakdown. But Sam Cane now with the ball 15 metres out from the line. The All Blacks in position here. And whether or not they try and run this out from inside of their own in-goal area, or they do kick it up the field, is about to be confirmed. I'm an unbiased All Black supporter. Well done to Will Jordan. One of the two choices of the first try scorer, Aaron Smith the other. And also we have got there Aaron Smith next, says Stephen. I mean, he's a decent option for the All Blacks, as he does like to have that run around the side of the breakdown, similar to what we've seen from Cam Royger, but Argentina currently in position. Here comes Thomas Gachot, one of the brilliant players for Los Pumas throughout 2022's Rugby Championship. Got himself 2 tries up against the Australians. Now Gonzalo Berrano back to Fukando Izu, has got the strapping around his head now. Juan Cruz Malia back across to Lucio Cinti. Good defense from Barrett and Sam Cane trying to strip that ball away, but he did get the knee to the ground, so unable to do so. Ethan Agroot and Savia now having to make a double man tackle. Santiago Carreras now fires it off to Juan Cruz Malia. The backline of Argentina so far has been looking like it's going to be pretty busy throughout this semi-final fixture, but they're up to 9 phases once more here for the Argentines. Berrano going to the short side off to Juan Cruz Malia. Gets it to Mateo Carreras. Gets a good shot in the spine from Sam Whitelock. Still 22 metres out from the line. Thomas Lavanini taken down low by Cody Taylor. Now Berrano again going to the right-hand side. Forward pass from Santiago Carreras. Ref says play on. Now one more to the right-hand side, Gonzalo Berrano. Once that pass again to Leah, gets the clean turnover for the All Blacks. 25 metres out from their line, and looks like they are also going to be looking for a counter-attack and play here. The All Blacks, rather than kicking, Moonga goes on the outside to Rico Ioane, cuts on the inside, breaking through 2 tackles, finds the offload to Richie Moonga, who's got Jordan with him, but he couldn't get the pass away. Now Smith goes to the right. Bowden Barrett thought about the cross kick, but the All Blacks on the counter-attack have Savia to Scott Barrett. Sam Cane out to Mark Talia into the 22 now for the All Blacks. And Argentina, good scramble defence to stop the All Blacks from finding that next line break. Shannon Brazil tackled a little bit early from Julio Montoya. Another offload. Lomax going out to Will Jordan, who does drive at the line. Up to 6 tries for him throughout this Rugby World Cup. Smith thought about going right. Will go left instead to Tyrell Lomax. 5 phases at the moment on the counter-attack. It's where the All Blacks have looked the most dangerous. Inside ball to Sam Whitelock. Bowden Barrett joining that breakdown. Smith really deciding where they want to go to the left-hand side now. Ethan Agroot, ankles taken out from underneath him. The All Blacks still on attack. And this will tire out the Pumas, definitely with this tempo that has been played at throughout the first 15 minutes of the game. Ethan Agroot going across to the right-hand side. Smith again goes to Whitelock. Moonga. Will Jordan passes to Geordie Barrett, and he's been nailed in the shot. But he falls over the try line. Second try for the All Blacks. Massive hit from Emiliano Boffelli, giving a little bit of what he got earlier in the contest. But Geordie Barrett now scores the try in the 16th minute of the game. The All Blacks get their lead extended by just that little bit more, 12 points to 3 now. But it was the turnover from Mark Talia, got a hand on the ball, ripped it away from Juan Cruz Malea, then the counter-attack. Oopsies, I pressed the wrong button. There we go. And Dan Carter has cheat the sport. Says Chris Brown, and also any foul play there. Says Jordan, the discipline of the Pumas when they were on attack was a lot better that time. Or sorry, when they were on defence, not ending up with any penalty advantages against them. Geordie scored from the wing, nostalgia. Says Dwayne, of course, in 2000, I think about 21, Geordie Barrett found himself sitting out there on that wing. In fact, was Geordie Barrett playing on the wing when the All Blacks lost to the Pumas? Maybe. And Stan has got the donation as well. Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciate it. Only a small bet, but nice when it wins, says Kerr. And there as well. Night time to relax. Richie Mo'unga rocks and is fabulous, and it's okay. And not all hope is lost. Come on, Argentina, says Sino T. Yeah, they were down by quite a margin in their game up against, I believe it was Wales that they were actually down by quite a bit. If they have the same gameplay as France, maybe, just maybe they could take the lead, says Elton. And the kick from Mo'unga will miss away to the right, so the score remains at 12 points to 3. And Lomax apparently has the fastest 40 metres. Says Andy Surfer, and you're doing well. You got a water win. Says Wade and South African here, only back. The AB's excellent commentary, Amish, says Andrew de Klerk. And of course, the winner of this contest will go on to face the winner of England versus South Africa. Now, that game will be taking place tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow morning. And we will be covering that one on the channel. So in 24 hours' time, we will be about halfway through that first half. I'll hand you one for the All Blacks next week. We'll be telling if we're in it, says Stan. And there as well. Oh, they've just said about someone going off for an HIA. Now, I didn't actually catch who it was who has made their way from the field, but I'm sure they will show us in a very short moment. It is actually Fukundo Isa who's making his way off the field, and that is due to maybe something to do with that knock. He got a bit of a cut there, so maybe it was in that process that he did take the knock to the head as well. But Aaron Smith now inside of the 22 will put the ball high for the All Blacks, kicking it deep down towards the halfway line. Man, my voice sounds terrible today. Lucio Cinti now sitting 14 metres out from the line. I think I've done too much talking throughout the week, and it's starting to show. Now Bertrano going off to the right-hand side. Santiago Carreras rusts the fence from the All Blacks, but still managing to find that offload to Juan Cruz Malea, who kicks it in behind, chasing this one hard. Mo'unga has to take it just inside of the field of play. Now running sideways, back in his pace. He's done well, Mo'unga, and then the kick did not quite go as far downfield as he would have liked. Where did your voice go, Mr. Commentator? Says Elton. Yeah, it's starting to hide a little bit, which is not ideal. There's an Irishman, a Welshman, and a Scotsman in the bar. There would have been an Englishman too, but he was still in France for the semi-final. Says Ian. And also, are you doing the Kiwis tonight? Says Pate. We probably won't be, sadly, in their game up against Toa Samoa. The only reason for that is because we might still be playing cricket. As I'm actually playing cricket about 2 hours after this game finishes, ladies and gentlemen. That was a good throw from Julio Montoya, claimed nicely by Argentina. Now, a little bit of stepping there from Mateo Carreras, actually runs over the top of Adi Savia. That is something you do not see too often in the international game of rugby. But Bertrano now going off straight in behind the breakdown. They're going back for a penalty in favour of New Zealand. Tackle past the maul. Just received my channel membership gift. Thanks, Hamish brother, says Reno. So I believe that would have been either Kerr or maybe Jimbo who gifted you that one. So yeah, be sure to use plenty of those emojis in the chat. And yeah, there's a Halloween one there, which we are actually very close to, only about 10 days away. We have got there these lame dad jokes crack me up, says Stan. And also we have got there, come on, the All Blacks, the World Cup is yours, says Valerie. And at least the Pumas believed in 20, or believed for 9 minutes, says Xander, although they aren't out of this game yet. Yes, there's 9 points difference between these two sides currently. But I honestly feel like for Argentina, as long as they can stay close in this contest, that is the big one for them. The semis should have been New Zealand, Ireland, France, and South Africa. And that game's in the afternoon, not in the morning, says Wolf. And now it's going to be slapped away to the right-hand side. Nicely taken by Marcos Crema. So that is a turnover one for Los Pumas at line-out time. Now Lomax looking for the turnover. He has lost his footing. So Argentina will keep their hands on the ball. Your voice still going and giving us a winning way. So we don't care what you sound like, okay? Says Doobie. And yeah, as long as I have some sort of voice by the end of the World Cup, I'll be pretty happy. I would say overall it's going to be kicked high from Santiago Carreras, knocked back by Mark D'Elia, but claimed by Lucio Cinti once more. Argentina now back on attack from 40 metres out from the All Blacks line. Thomas Lavanini, Ethan de Groot though, almost in the breakdown, doesn't get the turnover as he is cleaned out. Berrano going off to Santiago Shohabarez, the explosive. Mateo Carreras moves up to 25 metres from the try line now. Berrano again slings it across to Francisco Gomez Cordella. Berrano back. That's going to be Guido Petty now. They do have numbers on this left-hand side if they decide to use them, but it seems like Argentina is slightly hesitant to go for their pass out wide. Shannon Brazil gets the turnover in the breakdown for New Zealand, and they are now 22 metres out from their line. With the possession, the penalty goes the way of New Zealand for not releasing the tackler, or not releasing from the tackler. The crowd are not happy, but if Ethan de Groot or whoever had that ball's knee was down, that is a clear penalty. Come on, New Zealand, humble yourselves, Pumas. You've earned our respect time and time again. Says Ben, exactly right. Like Argentina, the way that they've been able to improve leaps and bounds over the last, say, 2 years or even 3 years, like it has been pretty awesome to see their progression. And for them to be in the semi-final, absolutely massive for them. Of course, and thanks, mate. I'm sitting in Marseille's airport. There isn't one TV in sight. I thank God for your commentary, says Christopher. So thank you very much for being here, mate. Hopefully your flight goes well. Are you covering the Black Ferns? I hope. Says Suzanne, it will depend a little bit once again on what time we get back from cricket, mainly because we may be out and about till just after the kickoff of that contest. We have good there, no voice of Ferris appealing in your cricket match, Hamish. I still need you tomorrow night, says Habby. And there. And does the ref seem biased at all? There's been penalties in favour of New Zealand, but I don't think any of them have been the wrong decision yet. If that makes sense, like he's been pretty strict in the breakdown up against the Argentines, I will say. Like it's been pretty, like, observant, I guess you could say, in terms of really looking for anything he can find. But I think he would do the same if New Zealand gave away that penalty earlier on in the game. It's just been more that New Zealand's had the ball more, so it's given more opportunities for Argentina to give away the penalties. Beauden Barrett though with the chip. Chasing after this one, nicely taken by Emiliano Boffelli. Barrett manages to drag him down 30 metres out from their own line here. Argentina, Francisco Gomez Cordella. He's already had probably about 4 or 5 carries for the big man throughout the early stages. And also, we've got to never underestimate the box. Says goes to plan, the ball is out, and the penalty this time goes the way of Argentina. Scott Barrett looks confused, but I believe, was that for him leaving his feet? No, he was offside at the breakdown for Scott Barrett. He ended up offside, says Angus Gardner. And also we have their box of the best, says Christo. And thinking about the last time New Zealand and South Africa met in a final of the World Cup. I saw there, where did that go? When Nelson Mandela lifted the trophy. I will be War, said Reino. Yeah, it's going to be an absolutely awesome one. So I'm not the only one going on about referee bias. Says Charles, when you're dominating, you usually get the calls. Always been that way. Yeah, exactly right. Like at the end of the day, if Argentina, if they get their hands on the ball a lot more here, they will end up in that scenario of probably receiving quite a few more penalties in their favour as well. We have good there. Thanks, Jody. I suspect he was either Irish or supporting the Corks. Says Stan. Right, we've got another stoppage at the moment at line-out time. The players closing that gap. Sam Whitelock at the front. Steals it for the Kiwis. Now Will Jordan thought about the kick, but gives it across to Geordie Barrett, who has the longer boot. But it looks like the All Blacks, once again inside of their own half, do want to run this ball rather than kicking it. Now Shannon Brazil, good shot on him by Marcos Crema. He's always going to give you 100 out of 100 when it comes to that physicality. Cody Taylor testing his pace. Tackled by Santiago Shohabarez. Now they're looking for Aaron Smith. He is now going to be looking to put this one up high. England, I want revenge, I reckon, says Jason. And England can take us out. Ask the All Blacks what happened in the last World Cup, says Francois. And can't wait for the next week's final. That's kicked out on the full from the All Blacks. So I think they said it was... Wait, it was off the Argentinian hand in flight. Okay, so it was touched by Argentina. So they said because it was out on the full, they have to go back to where it was kicked from. That's not the right ruling, is it? Normally, because if there's a charge down and the ball goes out off that, yeah, they've got to go back to where it was originally. They've got that wrong. If it's been out on the full, but it's been touched, it's just out rather than out on the full. They do now march down the field a bit further, walk in the park. I would have thought it would be a walk in the park. And then they have to step up. Says Elton, the second half will be easier for New Zealand. Well done, Hamish. I hope to meet and beat you in the final. From a box supporter, says Paul. And looking forward to you and I clashing. Next weekend, Hamish, promise to comfort you, says Natasha Barrett. And there as well. But now 26 minutes in, the All Blacks now looking to get this rolling maul firing. Only just inside of their own half here. Making about 5 metres in the process. And it does look like they're going to continue with this maul still marching for the All Blacks. 45 metres out from the line now. Smith waiting for that ball to become available. Now goes across to Geordie Barrett and behind to Mo'unga. To Leah. Doesn't pass. Does instead decide to try and brush his way through the defensive line. Smith goes across to Mo'unga. I'm not sure who that was on the field. Someone was picking up someone's boot or a tee or something that have made its way onto the field. Now Rico Ioane. Going to be play on just over the shoulder is the call from Angus Gardner. So no high shot coming in there. Smith. Cross to Geordie Barrett again, who I mentioned was definitely an evident change in terms of how the All Blacks backline has started being stronger since he returned. Scott Barrett running at Bertrand, who's done well to muscle up and take him down. Now Sam Cane around the ankles, tackled by his opposite number, Marcos Crema. Now Smith going to the right, Mo'unga, cross to Frizzell. Taken down low, he was injured throughout the first stages of the Rugby World Cup. Will Jordan now running at Thomas Lavanini, stolen by Julian Montoya in the breakdown. That is something that has been prominent for him throughout his Rugby World Cup and 2023. Hey, Hamish, hope you had a good week, says Dylan. Have indeed. It's absolutely flown by at the moment, that is for sure. And before we know it, we'll be at the Rugby World Cup. France robbed from victory by ref, says Yarko. Nicely taken by Bowden Barrett at the back for the All Blacks. Currently 28 minutes into the game, looking for the big boot into the 22. The Pumas claiming and looking to run this one back now with Juan Cruz Malia. Puts it high, Mateo Carreras putting in chase. Doesn't get to it. Instead, Mo'unga cleans it up. Tackled by Juan Martin Gonzalez. Smith, sniping run round the side, gives it off to Scott Barrett, who is tackled low by his opposite number, Lavanini, knocked on by Sam Cane and knocked on them by Juan Martin Gonzalez. They'll go back for the scrum. We have their goodness. Where did the decision come from? Rugby World Cup Committee or what? Whoever. Go find another decider stupid, says Doobie. And also we have got their, sorry Hamish, but my anti-ref bias is getting support, says Charles. And also I feel like you are a bit more pro-New Zealand, says Master. It's just the case of they've had more ball. It's always easy to sound like I'm in favour of the team that are attacking in a game. It's like throughout the first stages when Argentina were on attack. We were giving them plenty of praise. It's just been more New Zealand in the last little while. The question is, why aren't we all wearing suits? Says Scrum Lads there. Because I think someone asked why I'm wearing the suit. Pretty much because it is a big match, so we've got to put on the big match suit for it. Stop talking, show us the live, says Ella. If you go onto the Rugby World Cup website, then you will be able to find the best option of watching depending on where you are in the world. Hamish, will you rip your tie off again, says Xander? That's become something that's been a popular request on these live streams, it does seem. Of course, throughout that last stage of Ireland versus New Zealand, we did end up ripping the tie off, and now everyone's just, they've been asking for it for quite some time. They're showing Sam Whitelock the most capped All Black of all time with 152 caps to his name. I show the game live. You do have to go onto the Rugby World Cup website to find the best option of being able to watch it. But anyone who is new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are 70 away from 41,000 subscribers. So if you do want to help us get there, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is greatly appreciated, and we've got plenty more coming in the near future for the Rugby World Cup. Still 3 matches to go. Then we are on to the URC. We have got their What Matches Rugby watching. Can someone tell him it's the semis? Says Stan Paulson. Also, France should have at least got to the semis. The pool's screwed over the dynamics, says Machine Gun Nasty. And also, come on Argentina, shock him, says Bruce. And I see no bias. And also, we won fair and square, France, Joel says a Logan. But now for Kandoiza, he's going to be putting on a scrum cap by the looks, or he considered it till he realised his head wasn't quite going to fit into it. So he will be making his way back out onto the field. And don't worry, Hamish, I find you neutral. The tie ripped off was classic. You had a brilliant match, brilliant commentary. Lekker people, support the lads, says Francois. And there as well, now going off to the left-hand side, Argentina are on attack once more, trying to find their first try. But New Zealand keep their record of not conceding a try within the first 20 minutes of any of their games so far throughout the Rugby World Cup. Mateo Carreras almost pierced in the gap as Scott Barrett makes the tackle on him. Now fired up from Guido Petit to Juan Matan Gonzalez. Bertrano slinging past to Santiago Carreras, opening up now for Argentina on the attack. It's Lucio Cinti, in fact. Santiago Chochabarez hangs on to it for that little bit longer. Carreras goes for another kick in behind. It rolls into touch. They are just rushing it a little bit on attack so far, Argentina, rather than just taking a few more phases, trying to wear out this All Blacks defence. And Hamish, I feel that rugby, it's a very exclusive sport. Only a few teams are good and we're witnessing one-sided games. Says Aiden, although the quarterfinals, we saw 4 games that were extremely close between the sides, which was absolutely awesome to see. And hey, talk about the game, says Mike, we kind of are. There's a stoppage at the moment that has taken place, which is why Fukando Iza is making his way back out onto the field. So that will be for Rodrigo Bruni to make his way onto the park for the HIA. And Puma says Derek, and Bala Hamish from Fiji says I'm welcome in. And also, will this game go over? Says Eric. It will be normally about the same length as the others, I'd say. I don't think we'll have extra time if that is the question. Can't subscribe, you waffle more than commentate. Says Errol, your call. At the end of the day, anyone who's been here is still supporting the channel, and it is greatly appreciated. That one has gone in touch from Richie Moonga, not getting a massive amount of distance on it, 25 metres from the line. Hamish, you look awesome tie, including, says Mark, thank you very much. And also, I just goofing around, but Hamish is sexy AF, says Natasha Barrett. And there, well, I appreciate the compliment. Although after the Rugby World Cup, I think I'm going to have lost all of my hair. That is for sure, because it has been a stressful competition. Julio Montoya getting that line out right. Now the rolling ball for the Pumas once more. I'm going to roll this one round the side, and it looks like it's going to be effective. Breaking off the back, Juan Matan Gonzalez. Moving to 15 metres out. Crema now. Driving straight at Shannon Frizzell. Good metres made. Savia hands down, so is unable to get that turnover. Bertrano now. Sam Kane may have been just a little bit offside. Oh, it's off the foot, so they say play on. Thomas Lavanini now. On to the left. Once more, Santiago Carreras. Tackled low by Tyrell Lomax, who's a bit lower, or a bit slower to get back to his feet, but 10 metres from the line now. For Argentina, up to 6 phases. To the right, Bertrano going across to Thomas Gasho. I mentioned he is a try-scoring threat at prop. Big run from Fukando Iza, who's already lost that strapping on his head that he had when he made his way back out onto the field. Penalty advantage in favour of Argentina. Fukando Iza, a bit of a juggle, but still manages to hang on to the ball, taking contact 2 metres from the line here. Argentina on hot attack. Barrett having to make the tackle there. They're only 1 metre out now for Argentina. Bertrano considered the snipe. I think that was pretty cynical from New Zealand. They will go back for the original penalty. We have got there, so glad started people focusing on bad reffing, says Charles. And I'm a Bok, but I can tell the All Blacks have this in the bag, says Candice. And then Hamish, you should get a Kiwi pin for that nice jacket champ, says it was there from Reno. And Errol, you're a goose, says Simon. In there as well. And so glad, I know I read that one, didn't I? Look at there, the Pumas has to be yellow, says Jimbo. And Hamish, not only sexy, but very smart man, says I'm there. It sounds like the Pumas, they are going to be going for the 3 points here rather than the 7. Now, is that going to be a bad decision to make here? So it is against Geordie Barrett for not rolling away in the breakdown. Argentina will win, Hamish, says Aiden. A listing from the UK. And go take your point, says Dennis there. And the ref is Hiram. And I'll say quickest half ever, says Scrum Lace. Yeah, we're already 34 minutes through. And also, you like a bunch of women. Yep, says Errol. Well, by the sounds of that comment, I don't think you talk to many of them, Errol. So, yeah, I am sorry to hear that. The ref is dyslexic, says Eric J, but that kick has gone over, making it 6 points to 12. So they are within the 7 now, I should mention. Only the 6 points tomorrow. 6 points down. I read what's the feelings on tomorrow's game. I hope it's close, but there is a chance that we do see once again a little bit of a one-sided affair between those two sides. New Zealand will win. There was a mistake. Aaron says Aiden, and that kick is going to be now or. I think Will Jordan has been tackled in the air by the looks of it. Will Jordan saying it's all good. Don't get angry. Okay, it's going to be just the penalty. We have got there, F off, play the live game, says Casper. Well, if you had half a brain cell, Casper, you would know where you can find the game and you could watch it yourself. It would be a good option. Then we wouldn't have to put up with you. I'm really cheap. I'll send you super chat to help you feel better about the box winning. Says Jody, but the All Blacks now going to be kicking this one towards the corner in this match. Yeah, Will Jordan just taken out in the air, unfortunately, by Juan Martin Gonzalez as they both leap for the ball. Hamish, have you had a bride recently? I have not, no. Let's go New Zealand, let's go, says Anthony. And go Egypt, says Rugby. And there as well, but now the rolling ball starting to open up for the All Blacks. They are 22 metres from the line. And this is the difference at the moment in mentality between the two sides. New Zealand are going for the 7s, whereas Argentina are taking on the 3s. The question is whether or not Argentina could cost them in the long run if they haven't taken enough opportunities earlier on. You tell him, says Francois. Yes, so red card for that tie broocher, says MVT. But now 30 metres out from the line. Pumas' defence has still been solid, although off their feet. That's going to be the penalty against Julian Montoya, or at least the penalty advantage. Mo'unga lined up early. Finds his offload up to Aaron Smith, who has run into the right-hand side. Sam Cane has got Ioane with them. He's gone for the grubber. We don't see that too often. And we have got this. Go the Dogs. Says Rugby and also would love a New Zealand South Africa final would be epic. Says Mike. Now we've got another penalty against New Zealand. This is straight out in front. So this might be the time when New Zealand do take on the 3 to get back ahead by more than 7. And thanks, Hamish, says Leslie. And also don't miss with Hamish, says Kaz. And also we have got there, where is Chloe now? Hamish has had a haircut, and also definitely this ref is an idiot. Says Albert, so we will see a replay here. I believe it was Julian Montoya. Yeah, straight down, elbows on the ground over the ball. Clear penalty against him there. Unfortunate for him because normally he is so clinical in the breakdown in terms of getting those turnovers. We've already seen it once. I've got there, haven't watched it before, but doing a great job. Can't believe how some people can say nasty comments. Says Sam Petty. I don't know whether or not it's so much that they're frustrated at me, but it's more the fact that they're frustrated at not being able to see the game. And I would say to a certain extent that is World Rugby's fault as well, because this game should be very easily accessible for anyone, no matter where they are in the world. But Mo'unga gets the kick over, making the score now 15 points to 6. Still a little bit of time remaining in this first half, 2.5 minutes left. But yeah, the whole World Cup should have been free to air, easily accessible for everyone to be able to watch. We have got there, what says Mark Smith to Kerr? I think I missed Kerr's comment. Where is it? We have got there, shaved his balls too. Okay, I see that one now. I need to banish people making nasty comments at Hamish. Says Charles, and nice say, bro. Says Anthony, not accessible in South Africa, so are they frustrated? Says Lynette, I should say. And now, Shannon Frizzell knocking the ball on, giving another chance to Argentina near the end of this first half. Sam Cane putting the jersey over the head of Thomas Garchot. Now to the left-hand side, nice driving run from Facundo Izu, who's done extremely well. He's passed his HIA, and also alongside that has been strapped up about twice round his head. Knock on from Juan Martin Gonzalez there, though. Then takes the opportunity away from Argentina. Look at there, they're angry and take it out on others because they can't afford it. Suck it up, man. Says Nazi, I love your work, dude, but you're dead right. This game should be available for everyone free. A huge mistake by WRU, because this is the perfect time to get people into rugby as well. At the end of the day, like, if you show people games of rugby for free, then they are more likely to start watching other competitions, start watching other games that are available around the world, whether that's the URC, whether that's the Gallagher Premiership, the Top 14, Super Rugby. It's all about getting people invested in a sport, and if you tell them you're going to have to pay all this money, to be able to watch it, people aren't going to want to watch it. Even if they want to watch the games, they still won't want to have to pay a large margin or a large amount to be able to watch it. They are the opposite of Leka. Average the score is 6.15, not 6.12. It is an automated scoreboard, so it's not behaving itself. At the moment, I think whoever is in charge of it doesn't want to add the extra 3 points for the New Zealanders. We have got there, that's the point. We can't see nothing. DSTV is disconnected the whole time. Now I need to listen to you, says Casper. So I do apologise that you do have to listen to me rather than watching the games. I always say, like, this is the next best alternative if you aren't able to see the game, just so you know roughly what is happening throughout it. That will be another penalty to the All Blacks. 15 seconds remaining. That looks a lot like a Barrett. Yep, there we go. Smiley Barrett. You can tell he is the Barrett boy's father. And love and respect to Argentina, says Ghosted. And also Mass says Xander. And Hamish Game and chat commentator says Pan. That kick is into touch by Geordie Barrett. I should mention there is still a little bit of rain that is falling at the Stade de France. Hey, the scoreboard's updated itself. We have got the All Blacks. You've got this. Thanks for your commentary. Argentina needs to calm down. All Blacks the best, says Kingpin. And also New Zealand got one extra player on the field. The ref, says Edward. So I'll ask you the question, Edward. What penalty are you not happy about that you have seen throughout this first half? And don't just say all of them, because some of them were definitely justified. So what penalty in particular do you feel is the one that Angus Gardner is against Argentina for? Do let me know. And now South Africa, not playing in this game, of course. Savi is what I meant to say. A little bit similar. Starts with the same letter, I guess. Now Aaron Smith, 22 metres out from the line. Cody Taylor trying to step his way through. Tackled low by Juan. Martin Gonzalez, Tyrell Lomax now on the left-hand side. All Blacks already scoring 2 tries throughout this first half. Shannon Frizzell now stepping. Good tackle made on him once more by Juan Cruz Malia. Oh, in fact, that was Juan Martin Gonzalez. Now Scott Barrett. Mark Talia pops it up to Sam Kane. A lot of pressure on him. Soon as the ball does go out, or there is a knock-on, that will be the end of the first half. But the All Blacks, they'd love to be able to extend their lead by just that little bit more before the end of the first 40. Scott Barrett, good aggressive run, taken down low by Thomas Lavanini, who has stayed down. Now Mark Talia, some nice stepping, bursts his way through. He's a hard man to put down. Talia, 1 metre from the line now. Smith looking to the left-hand side. They have got numbers, and it will be Shannon Frizzell who scores the try out wide. But brilliant, elusive running from Talia. Broke through, I believe that was 3 or 4 tackles all in one little burst. He's a hard man to stop, and Shannon Frizzell gets the try out wide. He wasn't expecting it. You can tell by his own face there. I don't own the jersey, says Walter. I mean, I have an All Blacks kit. It's just in the wardrobe at this stage. And also you borrowed the history, says Walter. And also we've got there, that score machine needs a good kick, Kiwi, says Dubé. And also game of rugby spoiled by the ref, says Edward. But once again, what was the penalty that you feel was against Argentina in this case? Because if you can give me the examples, we can look at them and we can analyse them. But if you just say the ref is bad because you didn't like the fact that a side was penalised, it doesn't tell us nothing. You're stuck in Australia and grateful for this great commentary. Just like the radio days in the 1950s, I'm 74 years young, says Susan there. Will this be game over now? It is certainly going to hurt the Pumas for that second half. But once again, I mentioned about it. Throughout that first 40 minutes, they were opting to go for the 3 points rather than going for the 7. And that can be a massive difference maker in the overall game here. Talia just passed everything, says Sam Wilson, but the kick from Richie Moonga, it's hit the post and hasn't gone over. So the score will remain at 2 converted tries difference, 20 points to 6 at halftime in this one. Who do you think is man of the half? I think throughout that first half, for the All Blacks, there were a few forwards who certainly put in a decent shot of blowing Argentina left, right and centre. But yeah, what penalty of those, Edward, are you not happy about? Because saying that there are penalties against the side and that's the referee being biased, you got to give examples. I'm curious. And I will listen to them as well when you do let me know. And we have got there, why is there so many South Africans in here? Because they scared of the All Blacks, says Tuta. Although we do have quite a prominent South African audience. In fact, we have more South African viewers than All Blacks viewers on this channel. And Hamish could improve by always stating the position of the ball and who has possession. This needs to be 100%. If that reduces his comments on the comments feed, so be it, says Igor. And also we got their game over. It's okay to wear your All Blacks jersey, says Gary. Nah, the suit looks all right, I think. Disagreeing with the ref is fine, but wishing harm on the ref, I will get you timed out and banned, fam. Says Scrumless, we have got a new member on the channel. It is Patrick. Cheers, mate, for hitting that membership button. And there's a beautiful rugby, says Gum. But we will look through at some of the stats from that first half, ladies and gentlemen. I wish you could see the ref's call. Nothing wrong with the refs, just a stupid South African thing. We even have a song about blaming the refs. Do you? I have not heard that song. Currently, meters carried throughout that first half are extremely similar. 263 meters carried by the home side, or the side who are counted as home in this contest, Argentina, and then 265 meters carried from the All Blacks throughout that first half. Defenders beaten 18 for the All Blacks compared to 10 of Argentina. New Zealand paid ref. And how long have you been doing this, bro? We have been doing it for about 3 years now on our channel. So we did start just after the last Rugby World Cup. From there, we have been doing it consistently throughout. We've done over 1,000 live matches. But I always say having you guys in the chat is the thing that makes it so much more fun. Because at the end of the day, we get to meet so many people from all around the world. We get to talk all about the game, talk about what is happening in the world of rugby. And yeah, it is a lot of fun. And bless you, mate, says Dawson. Thank you very much. And Shane Christopher. And also we have got there, bless you, which says Chloe. And hi to his South African brothers from New Zealand. And good luck to you guys. Our game. You guys did so well against France. And of course, we are going to see France unfortunately knocked out of this competition, but the top 14 starting back up. The URC starting this weekend as well. So we're starting to see more league games starting to take place around the world of rugby. New Zealand, if they win this game, they go through to the final. They will take on either England or South Africa. That game is just around the corner. The referee needs to be sacked, says Freddie. So what decision was it that you weren't happy with, Freddie? Do let me know. It's now halftime, says Munzi, and also you keep it real, as if I'm there at the game, says Tume there, although I am just about to mute because I am about to sneeze again. One moment, ladies and gentlemen. Right, we are good. We have sneezed, and we are better. What is wrong with Sam Cane? He is running so strange. Is he the girlfriend, or is there a turd in his pants? Says Johan, yeah, he hasn't had the best first half. Sam Cane. Nah, Rev is good, says the imposter. And also we have got there, Hamish, are you wearing pants? I am indeed, yes. Even though you guys can't see the bottom half and I could get away with no pants on, I decided it would still be best to wear them for this match. But the leading points and the leading match leaders in this contest, Geordie Barrett making 14 tackles. That is throughout just the first half as well, ladies and gentlemen. 56 running meters from Richie Mo'unga. Facundo Eza having the most offloads and also carries over the gain line. He had 8 throughout that first half, and that is just that little bit more impressive when you realise he was off the field for about maybe 5 or so minutes with the HIA, meaning that he had to make his way off the field. And Amish at the Coke again. And also, bless you, says Jalen, or Jelaine. Hopefully I've said that correctly. And also we have got there, has the referee been biased? I don't know, says Sung. So far throughout this game, we have seen 8 penalties against Argentina, 3 against New Zealand. Now, a lot of people are trying to say that there is bias there because there's been more penalties against Argentina. But when you look at what the penalties have been for, it doesn't really make it seem biased at all. It just means that Argentina have been ill-disciplined. We saw someone who's normally brilliant in the breakdown, Julian Montoya, dive straight in, elbows on the ground, penalty every day of the week. The rolling ball, somewhere that Argentina have been struggling. But when you look at the possession stat with the fact that New Zealand have had 54% of the possession, there are always going to be more penalties against the side defending more. In this case, Argentina, after making 121, or in fact, they made 80 tackles throughout that first half. New Zealand making 121. Just more repeated phases we have seen. Hamish, who's your player of the tournament? If Ireland was still in it, I would say Bundy Aki would certainly be up there overall. And what happened to your friends who help you commentate your games? They are still about. We have done quite a few videos over on the Kiwi Lads Entertainment channel with George, one of the other boys from the Kiwi Lads. And also we've got there 8:54 a.m. in New Zealand, says the Prince. And I think Geordie Barrett should kick for the post. I mean, yes, Richie Mo'unga has missed 2 so far, but he's been a very good option throughout the rest of this Rugby World Cup. We have got a donation from Babak as well. And greetings from Canada. I would love to see New Zealand win both the Cricket and Rugby World Cups. Can't imagine how wildly people they will celebrate, says Babak. And we are actually hoping to be able to do some of the Cricket World Cup after the Rugby World Cup is over on the Kiwi Lads Sport channel, ladies and gents. So be sure to check that out as well. We will have it, of course, on the main channel showing you when those live streams are taking place. And cheers for the commentary. Slight lag between commentary and live coverage. Says Mark, yeah, due to me watching on Sky Sport now, it means that there's just that little bit more of a delay compared to when the game is happening. Like, I think it's about a 70-second delay or somewhere around there. You're almost at 41K. We certainly are. We are 12 away from that 41,000, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's see whether or not we can get there. C-Core said, show the game, idiot. Well, if you weren't an idiot, you'd be able to work out where to watch the game. Of course, I've mentioned it about 15 times, and I have seen you here for a while, so surely you have heard me. But if you go on the Rugby World Cup website, you can see your options for being able to watch these games, and then depending on where you are in the world, will depend on what option that you have got to be able to watch it. My boy, you call Hamish an idiot just because can't see the game. You go to the sin bin, control that. Says it's scrumless, and also we've got there, come on Argentina, says Carol. And also Pumas need to pull their socks up. Oh, we go, don't cry for me. South Africa opponents were the toughest till now compared to New Zealand, Argentina, and England. Do you agree, Hamish, says Aiden? I mean, South Africa have certainly had some pretty tricky games of this Rugby World Cup, but I think that's definitely going to help them in the long run, getting to experience a few tougher games up against top sides. I think both teams are kicking the ball away too much. At the moment, I can tell you the kicking stat, 14 kicks from hand from Argentina and 10, that's 14 kicks from hand for New Zealand and the 10 from the Argentinians. So, yeah, I'd agree. A lot of kicks throughout this half, kicks into touch, 7 from New Zealand. That is from when they have been inside of the 22. We have to get there, Hamish, stop being so biased by ignoring ref comments. Says Alba, although I've read out most of them and I've asked for examples and no one gives me any examples. I've said, if you feel the referee was one-sided, what is a decision that you feel did actually cause you to feel that way? No one's given me a single example of a time that it has happened. So it's just all the case more of people are annoyed at the fact that Argentina have been ill-disciplined. The guy who can't watch live and asking how to do so is calling Hamish the idiot, says JP. And All Blacks Forever, says Zane. And also we have Get There While You're Wearing a Suit. I have got a wedding after this. That's a lie. I'm playing cricket, but it's a big match, so I decided to put on the big match suit for it, of course. I prefer to listen to the Kiwi Lads commentary. Watch the live with sound down. Okay, strange, says Mark there. And also we have Get There, I do lift, mainly boxing, says Jam. Tell you what, the chat has gone very quick. I think I've probably missed about 50 messages, so I do apologise for that. So far the ref is doing great, says Tyliki, and love the suit, says Xander, and the All Blacks, says Edward. And also I feel like the Springboks are always underrated in these World Cups, and I don't know why. How many times should we prove we belong up here with the top teams, says Sino T. And yeah, if they can beat England in their game tomorrow morning, of course we are going to be calling that game on the channel as well. But if they get the win there through to the final, it's going to be a pretty awesome one, I do have to say. Like, those two sides, if it is New Zealand versus South Africa, they've had some brilliant performances. That warm-up game, the All Blacks, of course, want redemption from that. South Africa have done pretty decently in terms of being able to fight through some tough games of this Rugby World Cup. All Blacks and the ref working hand in hand to win the game. Masterclass from the tag team, says Edward. Once again, if you've got an example of a penalty you weren't happy with, let me know and we will have a look at it. But until then, you're not really telling us anything more, are you? You missed 50 comments pointing out ref mistakes, says Albert in there. I did mention that the chat is going quick though. Anytime I've looked after asking though, I haven't been able to see any in that example. And Hamish looks like he's about to land a plane, says Rugby. I could probably land a plane. Although I've only flown one remote control plane in my life. It went straight into tyres and went boom. So I didn't get invited back, unfortunately. Oh, that one. I can watch that game on 9 now. Watching from Papua New Guinea for the Pumas, says Jackson. And I should mention second half just around the corner from taking place, ladies and gentlemen. Now, these are the reserves for both of these sides. Augustine Crevi at number 16, Joel Scalevi at 17, and Eduardo Bachot as the number 18, Matthias Alimano at number 19 with Rodrigo Bruni at 20, Bazin Velez at 21, Nicolas Sanchez, the man who scored the last minute try up against Wales, he will be playing at 22, and Matthias Maroni at number 23 to close out this Argentine side. Now, the only player of these men off the bench we have seen so far was Rodrigo Bruni. That was due to the head knock that Fukando Isa did sustain, so they have to make sure that he is all right, and he was, and he has continued to make meters when running the ball for the New Zealanders. Samasoni Tokiaho at number 16, Tamaiti Williams and Fletcher Null, the forward and the front row replacements for this game. Brodie Retallick at 19 with Dalton Papali'i as the number 20. So Retallick, he was in the starting lineup last week, coming off the bench for this fixture. Finley Christie and Damian McKenzie, two players who were off the bench but didn't get the chance to make their way onto the field for the last game. And Anton Leonard-Brown at number 23 to close out the All Blacks bench for this game. But currently 14 points difference between these two sides. I see Springbok and New Zealand final, and we believe in you. And Hamish, it's really funny how your replies to silly questions have gotten really sharp over the past 5 weeks. I mean, I've got used to people throwing random comments at me, so I think it's just from doing this for so long, you start to get something in your head ready to go, I guess, and tell them to shut up, says Dylan. And also, you have plenty of accusations, but no proof, says the Prince. Suki's with ref comments, shut up, says Krillio. And there I'm at 12, and what is this? Says Cool Story Bro. Hi there, Hamish. You've got over your hay fever soon, or hope you get over your hay fever soon. What you fancy is the AB's chance of winning the World Cup, should they be the final, irrespective of their opponents, says Peter Williams. I mean, at the moment, New Zealand have done better in this World Cup than a lot of people anticipated. They did expect maybe that New Zealand would get knocked out in those quarterfinals, but they fought deep and they fought hard up against the Irish, and they are still there now. And hello, Hamish, greetings from Cape Town, South Africa, says JD, welcome in. I think Foster needs to bring on the Bone Squad McKenzie. And there, and ref sucks hard, says Julian. So what decision, Julian, would you say was the problem? And also, can you shout out to my partner, Sydney? She is watching your stream for the first time. So shout out to you, Sydney. Hope you are doing very well. Dylan, he's been a very generous bloke to the channel, so be sure to treat him well. He is a very loyal Kiwi Lad subscriber. And Sino, I don't think we should talk about it, says Chloe. And hit that like button, people. Almost 5k in here and under 1k likes. Easy done. Show some support. Says Kerr, yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that like button. We are currently sitting on 675, so let's see whether or not we can get to that 1,000 before halftime. Technically, Will Jordan in the air should have been a yellow card, says Sung. I don't think it was very cynical, though, in that regard for Juan Martin Gonzalez. So, yeah, I think it was just the case of they were both going up for it. He realised he wasn't going to get it, so kind of used Will Jordan as a way of stopping himself from flipping over. So, yeah, I would just have it as a penalty. I don't think it was anything more than that. I respect the Springboks a lot, but their fan base is absolutely horrendous. They have a victim mentality. Says Russ there. And greeting God forever. How do they know what the refs' calls are? If they're watching the game, why hear from us? Says Francois. And my view is this. Why are people criticising the ref all the time? Take the whistle and go and blow. Then we can criticise you for a change. Get a life. Says Ocker. Tell you what, I am about 5 minutes behind at the moment for the comments, so I do apologise if I miss any of your messages, but we are going to skip back to where we are live, which is about there. Those who don't like the box, not been in South Africa. Says Chantel, and also Hamish, sterling job. Where'd that go? Sterling job on handling some of the comments through professional. Great commentary as always, says James. Thank you very much. Usually appreciated, but the two sides now making their way back out onto the field, ladies and gentlemen, for a second half of rugby. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road now to 42,000 subscribers. So if you do want to help us get there, it is greatly appreciated. We have got plenty more rugby coming, not just this Rugby World Cup, but also alongside that we have got the URC coming up in the near future, the Gallagher Premiership, Sevens on the channel as well, doing an awesome job, says Sean. And game already done and dusted, was hoping for a closer game. And it must be difficult to watch these games in New Zealand due to time zones. We have had a lot of all-nighters throughout the weekends, but we've covered 45 games now of this Rugby World Cup. We've still got 3 more. Cried because of the ref, says Edward there. And also, everything not as interesting as the quarterfinal game, says Harry. Yeah, I think the thing that would ramp it up a little bit for people would be if we see an Argentine try early on in the second half. But the problem is they have been opting to go for those 3-pointers rather than the 7. And I think that definitely hurt them majorly. We have good there, so I just explained to you my comments on the terrible ref. And you have not answered. I didn't see it. So here I go again. Onside or offside and knock on and holding on, says Freddie in there. That is going to be a knock on early on. We've seen from Argentina, then from New Zealand. So it will be a scrumpy for the All Blacks. And great commentary, Hamish. And also I think Foster has made mistake putting Finley over Cam. I agree. I feel like he said that it's for defence, but in a time when the defence mattered the most, he didn't bring Finley Christie onto the field. So he obviously doesn't back Finley Christie's defence as much as he has said he does. And I would think that attack all day would be better for the All Blacks in the later stages. Definitely with that combination of McKenzie and Roygaard. They have been looking very good together, and they make their way onto the field. Now scrum feed for the All Blacks, 25 metres out from the line. Still 39 minutes remaining. And Hamish, what would you tell the Pumas if you were their coach? Says Xander, I think they just need to be more aggressive. Because at the end of the day, playing a game up against the All Blacks, it's extremely hard to win it only taking 3-pointers. And they would have known that. Of course, in a semi-final or anything along those lines, you do want to take as many points as physically available. But another advantage now going the way of the All Blacks. Aaron Smith with the sniping run goes himself over the try line, scores the try, and that will be now the 4th try of the match for New Zealand. And Aaron Smith, the elusive halfback, has got it for the ABs. But the point that I was just making, as Argentina, as good as their defence has been, they just aren't able to stop the All Blacks from scoring when they enter that 22. What would happen if a team just walked off the pitch, says Jordan? Then I'd assume that the game would be over and probably forfeited by that team. That walk off, good seeing a good ref. O'Keefe was a disgrace, says Punisher. And also we have got the try time baby, says Crew in there. But Aaron Smith receives the pass from Artie Savia and just drives round the side of the breakdown. Mateo Carreras missing the tackle. Santiago Carreras, he made it in the end, but it was too little too late for the Argentines as he had crossed the line. I've worked with Hamish on a building site. He stole my phone and wallet. I want them back, says Rugby. Well, now I know you're lying because the only person I've worked on a building site with is my dad, and I feel like by now he would have told me about that scenario. We have got there, Bleed Black, says the 9 and bonus point try, says Rishin. And also, Hamish, who do you think is the GOAT team in rugby, says Russ. I mean, there are many teams over the decades that have done extremely well in a game of rugby. There's a chance that we see 2 sides with 3 World Cups, 1 under their belt in the final. And that would definitely be the decider in terms of which team is best in current times. But 27 points to 6 in favour of New Zealand. They lack confidence only. Yeah, so they just need to back their ability. We've seen them score many great tries throughout this Rugby World Cup. And thanks for the commentary. Said it was there from Wendy. Nicely taken by, I believe that was, this time, Bowden Barrett. Smith back into the pocket, finding Richie Moonga. They cannot kick this one out on the full due to it being taken back. Santiago Carreras now looking for the up and under. Chasing after this one, it will be Mateo Carreras. It hasn't quite gone the way that he wanted it to, and Geordie Barrett takes it nicely for the All Blacks once more. Now Bowden Barrett kicking it downfield off the left. Chipped in behind from Juan Cruz Malia, Mark Talia, waiting for it at the back for the ABs. Decides to have a bit of a piercing run, and he has been dangerous when being able to do so. Got the try assist earlier on, you'd say, with that run. And then the try for Shannon Brazil. We have got there, don't F with the All Blacks, says Steve. And maybe Stan stole it. Says Crumpus, and proof that Argentina are not knockout level, the result of a poor draw process. Says Watersports fan. I disagree with that, though. I feel like Argentina, you know, if they had showed up and really played a good game of rugby, it could have been a lot closer. But we've got to remember the All Blacks at the moment, like, they've come off and went up against the Irish, so they have got big hopes, and they are feeling confident in what they're doing. And Argentina just haven't quite played the tactical game of rugby that they needed to in this matchup. This is now becoming too easy, says Kurt. Nice run forward, though, from the Pumas. With Marcos Crema now 40 metres out from their line, and it looks like they are going to go for the kick here once more for Argentina. Put high from Gonzalo Bertrano. And I average the draw was just poor, and I can argue that fact, says JP. Yeah, they did admit that they got the draw wrong, but like at the end of the day, every team that's made their way to the semi-finals deserves to be there. Whether the draw was wrong or not, all these sides have fought valiantly to get to this point in the World Cup. So I feel like to say Argentina don't deserve to be here is like a pretty rough statement with the wins that they've been able to pull off. Now nicely slapped back to the left-hand side. Jorge Montoya now. Hamish stole my girl and I want her back. Now you're definitely lying because, yeah, I'm about as single as you get. Nice run from Facundo. He was just in touch though. And Juan Martin Gonzalez would have been excited for the chance of driving towards the line. I heard Francis Ngannou signed for a Wallabies, says Andy. And I was like, yes, Hamish, I have the wallet. Here's some back. Says that, and come on, Argentina, says Sino T. Now Cody Taylor with this line out throw for the All Blacks. And the All Blacks is going to win all the way. Go hard, the All Blacks. Have a great day, Hamish. Says Herman, thank you very much. You too. Stay single, Hamish. Says Steve, well, I'm pretty good at that at the moment, I have to say. I'm not even trying and I'm staying single. Stan has put the super sticker as well. Thank you very much, mate. Usually appreciate it. Where's the match? So the match is being played at the Stade de France for this game in the semi-finals. The same location as what we will see for South Africa versus England in the game tomorrow night. Please, Argentina. And also we've got there Kieran, All Blacks on fire. Says Novmum. Now going to the right-hand side, Cody Taylor. Hits it up again, and I believe we will see a real impact from both of these benches, whether that's Nicholas Sanchez, whether that's Damian McKenzie. We have there, would love to run into his arms down the aisle. That's another run for Richie Mo'unga. Tries to find the offload to Taylor, who does take it, but they're 10 metres out from the line. Another chance here for the All Blacks. Right-hand side, Rico Ioane. Bit of a counter-attack there from the ABs. Didn't look like there was a gap that would have opened up, but it did. Now Cody Taylor. I think Will Jordan's going to be the man they look for here, although first of all, they are going to the left-hand side, so they may not even need him. Geordie Barrett straightens with his run. Now Smith looked away to the side, but Ardie Savia says, let me have a go at him first. Frizzell already scoring one try throughout this game, going off to the right to Sam Whitelock, the most capped All Black in history. Now Smith again looks to the left-hand side. Ardie Savia, good shot on him by Julian Montoya. 5 metres from the line. Juan Martin Gonzalez very close to getting that turnover. Now Lomax crawls his way to 1 metre out. The All Blacks still with the chance. Now out wide. Mo'unga goes to Beauden Barrett. Great driving tackle on him. Smith decides to go. Oh, he went all by himself there, Aaron Smith. Risky tactic. Now Mark Talia throwing off one. Another advantage in favour of the All Blacks. Well, Jordan joining that breakdown. Mo'unga now getting within the metre. In fact, it was Ioane. Ball him behind to Ethan de Groot. Barrett was straight through. No one making the tackle on him. Advantage still in play up to 17 phases now. Now Barrett goes back to Lomax. Once again, just short of the line for the All Blacks. They are getting within inches, and Frizzell gets over for his second of the match. This one's getting a lot more one-sided now, ladies and gents. But the All Blacks strike again. And it is a try for Shannon Frizzell, getting 2 in this contest, something that isn't normally expected from the AB's loose forward trio. That England team, that lost to South Africa, take the All Blacks out in the semi-finals. Watch out, history can repeat itself, says Francois. And also, we've got there, I enjoy this format and I enjoy your interaction, says Jeremy in the chat as well. Richie Mo'unga going with the pass off to Cody Taylor after piercing the gap. Who's winning at the moment? The All Blacks are ahead by quite some margin. That is now their 5th try that they have scored throughout this game. Massive shot on Beauden Barrett by Mateo Carreras. And All Blacks will liven up the Waz, says Jacob. And also we're good there. England going to get fresh tomorrow. And also time up, says Eric. And also Pumas will run out of gas in the last 20 minutes. Abus will have 5 or more tries. And Baniaki, a beast, says Ghosted. Now Mo'unga. We just started in the second half. So currently 9 minutes into the second half. And already that is the second try from the All Blacks. Now they sit 34 points to 6. Conrad Smith liking what he's seeing. And we have got there, we've been poor the whole tournament. And also nice to see a good ref O'Keefe. Was a disgrace, says the Punisher. And great job, boss. Listen to your commentary while I watch it in a pub in Dubai, says Joss Pike. And also that's me next game tomorrow. And of course we will be covering the game tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 42,000 now. We are only sitting around 900 away. So if you do want to help us get there, it is greatly appreciated. It's going to be now knockback. All Blacks back in possession. Sam Cane here. Question now for New Zealand with a 28-point lead. At what stage do you decide to go and make some subs? I would say that New Zealand have to look at this strategically, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it does go in terms of when they decide to make those switches. And what's the real score now? Currently 34 points to 6. Now going off to the right-hand side, Marcos Crema. Still a chance for Los Pumas to score a few tries throughout this half. Santiago Carreras and behind now, quick hands out there, backline drop ball from Mateo Carreras, and that kind of summarises the second half at the moment for Argentina. And New Zealand see you soon from a box. Says Adrian, and Frizzell has certainly made the number 6 his own, says Joe Webby. And to be honest, he was the player out of the 3 in the last contest that was probably the more quiet out of Sam Cane, Savia, and Frizzell. So the fact that he's had such a stand-up game here, I guess, just gives him that little bit more of that confidence heading into the next one. This is embarrassing. Go home, Argentina, says Christopher. And also we've got there, Amish, you need fresh eggs? I mean, for your voice, says Tatiana. And also can definitely understand, where'd that go? Can definitely understand why the defensive skills of Christie were needed, says Kerr. It makes perfect sense in the Ian Foster logic, doesn't it? But would have loved to see Roygaard later in this contest. I think everyone would have for the AB's perspective. Looks like Sam Cane just having a bit of a chat there with Angus Gardner. We have got there, our Pumas are better than this. Checker is a problem here. We've had a trash hole tournament. Unforced errors non-stop and no defence, says Nacho Gamer. And yeah, it's just the decision-making out there as well. And why do they even play our match teams? It's a waste of time, says Matowicks. And how is this not good for rugby? Even losing, how many countries can say we reached the top 4 in the tourney, says Lee. Exactly right. For Argentina, like, yes, the scoreline is not what they would have wanted it to be, but to still be here in a in a semi-final is a massive achievement for Argentina. Yes, they have done it in the past, but for this current group of players, like, that is a confidence booster that will certainly help them in the near future. Jimbo has gifted 5 more channel memberships as well. Thank you very much, Jimbo. Greatly appreciated once more. And also, Fine Nuku needs to come off the bench or start. CS15, we've seen 8 line breaks from New Zealand in this game compared to the 2 of Argentina. Seen a lot more running from New Zealand and trying to rest some players. There's Gundio, exactly right. So that's when you take Aaron Smith off, I believe, in the next kind of 20, or maybe even like next 2 or 3 minutes, in fact, for Aaron Smith. Make a couple more changes, whether that's Savia off or Sam Cane. Savia will take this World Cup. Says YouTube user, another penalty advantage in favour of the New Zealanders. Artie Savia going across to Richie Moonga, slinging past there to Bowden Barrett. Now Will Jordan currently sitting as the tied for equal top try scorer in the competition. That is an Argentine turnover. Oh, but they're going right back for the original penalty in the scrum. We have got there. I'm fascinated to see who you're not showing any signs of bias or reaction to New Zealand. Or how you're not. I think that might be for Russ there, and kick to the corner, says Rodney. And over Roygaard and Leicester are there for the final, says the Brinch. And this is reminding me of the pool games, says Dylan. And Dylan, they're the most informed 12 this far, says Mervilli. Yeah, him and also Bundyaki, both right up there, I do have to say. We're good there. Can they more try from this far out? I think they'll be, how far is that? About 15 metres out from the line, so not a bad kick. And indeed, love you girl, says Natasha in there. And Argentina, too many errors, I agree. Unfortunately for them, it's just been hurting them big time in terms of not being able to hang on to the ball when they need to. Boca coming for the Kiwis, see you soon, says Adrian. And should have never written off the ABs, says Kingsley. Now Samasoni Tolkiaho, first throw for him, so they have taken Cody Taylor off. Now nicely taken by Scott Barrett. 15 metres out from the try line. I want to watch, please, says Joyce. So your best option is to go on the Rugby World Cup website. They will show you exactly where you can find the games depending on where you are in the world, because, of course, depending on where you are will depend on your options for being able to watch it. Now, Thomas Garchot close to getting the turnover there for the Argentines. Savia now getting driven backwards. 27 minutes remaining. I'd love to see Argentina at least get themselves 1 try here. I feel like if they really put their mind to their attack, they could find themselves a try relatively soon. Mark Dallaire driven sideways by Mateo Carrera. Sam Cane manages to strip the ball away from Dallaire. Driven backwards a couple extra metres. Now to the right-hand side, Smith goes off to Simisoni. Tolkiaho. Smith back to Brazil. He's already scored 2, so you can tell when he's close to the line, he will not want to pass that ball. Mo'unga to Barrett now off to Ioane. Doesn't quite get his offload away. Great driving tackle from Lucio Cinti to drive him sideways. Smith across again to Savia. To say the All Blacks do not look like they are done yet in terms of their attack. On a couple more tries, build that confidence that little bit more heading towards the final. Come on, Pumas, just for a good game, says Sean Mo'unga. Cross to Ethan de Groot. I wouldn't be surprised if they make those subs relatively soon as well. Hamish is my second cousin. While commentating about it, says Rugby. Now Geordie Barrett, 30 metres from the line, 60 to 10, called it, says Magnus. And there as well. It's boring to see New Zealand and South Africa dominating the rugby world. Looks like it's a betrayal or bilateral series, not a World Cup, says Aiden. 13 phases now back-to-back for New Zealand. Still on attack, going off to the right-hand side to Tyrell Lomax. He is stopped in his tracks by Thomas Gashaw. Marcos Crema, he's getting held in there by Scott Barrett. Referee does acknowledge that and says the ball is available, so still use it. Now Rico Ioane, quick hands from him, from Frizzell to Savia. Up to 16 phases, almost driven into touch. Now Smith to Whitelock. Mo'unga slings it to De Groot. Barrett with the cross kick. Will Jordan chasing after it. It bounces up for him, just knocks it on though. Didn't quite line it up the way he would have liked. Up the wires. Says keeping it low. And we got Ruth, we got Jasmine, we got Chloe, we got Natasha. Says scrum less there. And also I haven't seen Moody today. Or I haven't seen Moody play. Says even, yeah, he was left out of the South African lineup. Hamish is everyone's second cousin. I mean, locally, I probably am. Everyone seems to be related from my small town. Not literally. It's just the rumour that goes around. Christie now off the field. That is going to be for Aaron Smith. Mackenzie onto the park. That is for Bowden Barrett. So they are keeping Mo'unga out there a little bit longer. And also, how do you decide I don't have knowledge of rugby? Boxer getting F tomorrow, man. Just watch. Thinking me after the match, says Liesl. And also Ian Foster needs to rest some key players soon. Can't afford any injuries, says Kingsley. So yeah, Cody Taylor has now made his way off. Bowden Barrett also off. And Aaron Smith, the third man who was off. And watching from Canada, says Nat Simmons. Thank you very much for being here. It is hugely appreciated. Anyone who is new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 42,000 subscribers. So if you do want to help us get there, hit that subscribe button. We are currently only around 900 away from getting there. And Chrissy is so annoying. Ugh, says Dylan. And looking fine in your suit and tie, Hamish, says Rebel. Thank you very much. Of course, the suit will be back for tomorrow as well for the game between South Africa and England. All fed in by Buzz and Velez. Ball pops out the back. Argentina 10 metres from their line. Mateo Carreras showing some of that extreme acceleration that he has. Marcos Crema tackled by Geordie Barrett now. And Argentina 10 out from their 22. Cross kick attempted. Emiliano Boffelli is there for an inside ball to Juan Cruz Malia. This is what Argentina have needed throughout the first about 56 minutes of the contest. The ball was loose and now it's a penalty advantage against New Zealand. All Blacks getting themselves offside. And thanks as always for your commentary, Hamish, says Sam. No worries at all. Got to get through England tomorrow, crossing fingers, says Mike. And also, we get there, Barrett is my brother, says Marina. I'm sure Hamish's commentaries are on his own love scenes, says RJJ. Well, I would have to have those to be able to commentate on them. As you guys know, very single. You look a lot better than last time, says Rin. That will be because of the haircut and the shave, perhaps. Decided I'd try and tidy myself up a bit for these semi-final matches. So, yeah, that might be why. Argentina too late, says Rudy. The only thing the ref must watch is all the side entries. Great stuff, Hamish, says Cliff. And also, England will want revenge tomorrow. Proudly South African watch the space tomorrow, says Brenda Cox. And, of course, we will be here commentating that game. We've got about 90 minutes of build-up planned for that contest. Going to be an absolutely awesome one. Expected points from 5 metres out for a line-out. Argentina are expected to score 37% of the time throughout this Rugby World Cup competition. Now, Jorge Montoya breaking off the back but tackled by Sam Cane. The skippers going head-to-head. Buzz and Velez, short ball to Marcos Crema. Big driving tackle there from Frizzell and Tolkiaho. To Mighty Williams. also has made his way onto the field alongside Fletcher Null. And thank God I found your channel, loving your commentary, watching from my bed in Melbourne, says Terry there. Montoya, big shot coming in on his rib section. Rough pass from Argentina, a little bit of a bounce pass. It does still stay on their side. Buzzing Velez, short ball to Crema, tackled by Kane. He's got to be up there for the tackling stats once more alongside Geordie Barrett throughout the first 60 minutes. Thomas Gashaw thought about the offload, doesn't get the opportunity. We have got a new channel member as well, Lillian. Thank you very much for becoming a channel member. Greatly appreciated. Knock on this time from Argentina. And the All Blacks have got themselves another scrum. You say you're single, but are you not married to rugby? I kind of am, yeah. That's what I tell people anyway when I say about it. I say that I'm in a relationship with rugby, which then they kind of say how sad I sound, but that's all right. We have got there as well. Smashing haircut, mate, says, thank you very much. And also 100 for New Zealand, 6 to Argentina, says Xander. As his prediction, and Viva England, and rumour has it France team still at the stadium crying, says Scissor. I mean, at the end of the day, like those quarterfinal games, we were spoiled big time, weren't we? Just looks like we go way back to the 70s. Just here, only commentator. What is this? We're in 2023, still no live coverage. Yeah, unfortunately, World Rugby, they've really missed the boat in terms of how they could have promoted this Rugby World Cup. Being able to show full matches on YouTube would have been a great way of being able to do so. But instead, yeah, it depends on where you are in the world. Rugby Pass TV is a good option. And South Africa have beaten England 4 out of the 5 times in the Rugby World Cups since facing off, so the odds are in their favour. Says Denzel. Have you ever kissed a rugby ball? Be honest. I've headbutted a rugby ball, but that was not on purpose. So maybe my lips made contact when that happened. In your head, says Stan. And also we've got that, at least rugby don't cheat, backstab or gold digger, says Nasi Williams. That is true. It's very committed. The old rugby world. Now Finley Christie goes off to Scott Barrett. Pop pass up to Sam Whitelock. Another penalty advantage this time against Argentina. 4 offside. Moonga going across to Simisoni Taukiaho. And even highlight videos cut to only 3 minutes, says Kurt. Yeah, and that seems like it's like, yes, they want to make it short and snappy so people keep engaged in it. But you can also do extended highlights. And if they did that, that would be pretty awesome to try and keep people, like full match replays 1 week after the match has taken place doesn't hurt any broadcasters. Because at that point, no one has paid for the broadcasting anyway, if that makes sense. So show full match replays just after a few days, a week. Just have it somewhere. I got a single sister-in-law, G, says Cone Dan in there as well. And how many screens are in front of you? I have got 3, but I'm only using 2 at this stage. So the chat and everything is on this one and the game is on this one. So if you see me looking around like this, it is mainly because I am multitasking. Now 22 metres out after that penalty. It's where you look different, says Rin. It's the haircut. I feel like, yeah, I probably look slightly younger, but also more tired because we have hardly slept this week with all the excitement of the semi-final. South Africa for the Rugby World Cup champs, says Adrian. I show the game, says Justin. Sadly, we are unable to do so, but World Rugby, hopefully in the future, they do decide to go with some other options of being able to show the games around the world, keep people engaged and get people being able to watch it for free. That's the big thing. Now Mark Talia sniping round the side of the breakdown, 22 metres from the line. Simisoni Taukiaho now with the run towards Fulkando Eza. You can tell it's him because he's got blood all over his kit. What is the time in New Zealand at the moment? It is currently 9:28 a.m. Now to Mike T. Williams. Get him within 10 metres. Savia, piercing run. It's got the space opening up on the right if they do decide to use it. Christie does go that way. Now Moonga thought about the inside ball to Anton Leonard-Brown, but does keep his hands on the ball. So I think, I'm looking through, I believe Rico Ioane is the player who's made his way off the field. Oh, you're good there. Do you play rugby? I used to. Big run through to Mighty Williams. Charging at the try line. Now McKenzie. He's got Will Jordan with him. He skip passes to Mark Talia, who if he can find an offload. In fact, Will Jordan being very strategic there. To the right-hand side, Will Jordan will score another try. That is his second of the match. The reason that is significance is he now becomes the leading try scorer in the Rugby World Cup. He was tied with Pinot, gets himself his second there, and now moves up to 7 on the board. And still with a World Cup just around the corner. The final, that is, perhaps he will be there. as well. You won't be able to watch free because that's how they make their money, says Cruzco. And also, what is your favourite sport? I would say probably either rugby or cricket. I am actually playing in a cricket match after this game of rugby, so that will be interesting. See how I go. Hopefully, all right. You won't be able to show. Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? And also, don't worry about changing your status, Hamish. Just deliver the goods. Says Doobie. And also, Hamish, you and Rugby Itch gave a good chat about the guys' Springboks. And also, you can have my girl. Just don't leave me on timeout. Says Rugby. And go the All Blacks. And YouTube is so stupid. Says Rudy, and biggest score in the semi-final. I believe it was Kerr, let me know that Wales, they were beaten by New Zealand back in about 1970 by a margin of 40 points, I believe it was. So this is getting close to the largest points difference we have seen in a Rugby World Cup quarterfinal. Can we see an Artie haircut? For the final, I feel like I will pull it off nowhere near as much as Artie Savia does, though. That's my only problem. That kick from Moonga is away to the left-hand side, so he has actually missed 3 so far throughout these ones. And also, we've got to know, Hamish, you're just so humble, especially, or exceptional commentary. Beautiful soul. Love you to bits, says Natasha. And yeah, it is greatly appreciated. Natasha, of course, anyone who hasn't already, though, I should mention, I should have plugged this earlier on, be sure to follow us on Instagram. I have just put the link, well, it's not a link, it's just our Instagram handle. And the chat, be sure to hit that follow button. We are replying to all the messages that we get on there all throughout this Rugby World Cup. So yeah, be sure to check us out on Instagram. It is _Kiwi_lads. 1987, a World Cup 43-point victory, says Kerr there. The advantage is over now, though. The All Blacks unable to regain that kick. Crevi is on the field for Montoya. Hamish is engaged to be married by the World Cup final. I will start a right, says Katie. And also South Africa in there from Cindy. I follow you on Instagram, says Rindy. Oh, sorry, Rudy. I sent you on Instagram, says Kerr. In there as well. Out firing across to the left-hand side. Great hands from Damien McKenzie, picking that one up beautifully. Are you taking the World Cup, please, Share? Says Louis. I mean, we've had some good games of this Rugby World Cup. We have had some one-sided affairs along the way, of course. But overall, like the quarterfinals, I think everyone would admit they were the best 4 games of rugby that we could have asked for. Will Jordan going for his own chip and chase there, getting confident now with how he's playing. Who's going to be in the final, mate? Says Jason. At the moment, it does look like New Zealand, of course, making their way through. I honestly feel like South Africa should win their game up against England, but that's tricky to know. At the end of the day, rugby is an unpredictable game, and if England show up and play better on the day, they could be the side that make their way through. We could see not only them have themselves a rematch of the semi-final from last year, or sorry, of the final last year, but also they could see the rematch of the semi as well. Another mistake made by Argentina there, though. That is a shame. And we have got there no fight whatsoever. Too much of a gap between the two sides. And also South Africa versus New Zealand all day long. Thanks so much. Best World Cup for me, says Chantel. And now Sam Kane making his way from the field. That is for Dalton Papali'i. So I believe that is most of the changes that have been made. Whoop, whoop, says Rin. And come on, the ABs, says Hassan. Then South Africa are going to successfully defend their title. You heard it here first, folks. 1995 World Cup repeat, says Justin. Sanchez on the field for Santiago Carreras. Oh. A cynical off-feet hand from Scott Barrett. Now, it's the scenario of, if he ends up with a yellow card, of course, that doesn't change the outcome of this game. It doesn't change if he's going to be playing in the next game, but it's certainly something that Scott Barrett shouldn't have been doing at this stage of the match. Bring back Buck. Our All Blacks all hold your heads high, says Brett. So we are just seeing it now. Scott Barrett, he's going to be lying on the ground. Yeah, slaps it out. That's a very similar one to what we saw. Yellow card for Scott Barrett. I think it was last year. He got one in a very similar fashion. So now he will be making his way from the field in front of his dad as well, Smiley Barrett. In attendance, he'll probably be proud of that one. He used to get quite a few penalties against him. This good practice for controlling a game of 14 men, says Rodney. I think England could pull one out of the bag. Expect lots of kicks and drop kicks from England. And also New Zealand will be humbled and humiliated in the final versus South Africa, says Xander. He can't help himself, says Meanaz. And Scott Barrett's been a little clumsy this game. Overall been good, though. As rugby getting more advanced, says Hamish. I mean, we are seeing a lot more rule changes taking place in recent times. But, at the end of the day, I think player safety has taken the forefront currently. You should be a commentator, second time I tuned into you, says Rin. Thank you very much. Yeah, anyone who doesn't already, be sure to follow us on Instagram. I actually found the link to make it a little bit easier. Be sure to check that out. We recently hit 100 followers. We have not posted on there, but we do reply to every message. So if you want to talk about the game or anything along those lines, or just anything in general, we reply to everything, to be honest, no matter how weird it is. So anyone who does want to follow us on Instagram, be sure to follow that link that we did put. And at the chat, we have got the super sticker from Stan as well. Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciated for your generosity on the stream all throughout as well. I believe that's about your 4th or 5th donation now. Nicely taken by Richie Moonga. Close to the touchline, just manages to stay in the field of play. 14 minutes remaining now. I want to see your reaction to my message, says Kerr, so we will check it in a very short moment. Will Jordan, the bounce doesn't sit up nicely for him. It's going to be knocked backwards by Geordie Barrett, they say, so it is play on. And you're a fantastic commentator, great rugby knowledge. You're on tomorrow night? We certainly are. It's going to be a big matchup between England and South Africa. We are starting 90 minutes beforehand to talk all through what could happen in that contest. We have good there, we don't fear South Africa, says the Prince and I, says Jamie. And there as well, Michael has found so many emojis, but it makes the chat very colourful, doesn't it? So I guess we will allow it. We have got there, All Blacks have to be disciplined, can't afford yellow cards, especially in the final when landing the plane, means you're coming off a big night, says Jason. Okay, I am not in that case then. I got to bed relatively early. I was asleep by like 9 or so, I think it was. And South Australia is a state, says Anate Quiso. Hopefully I said that correctly. Go the All Blacks, says Rin there. And keep out the box in the comment section. It's irrelevant in this game, says, yeah, although, of course, could be the team that the ABs face in that final. 13 minutes remaining now. Argentina on attack once more. They are still yet to score themselves a try throughout this half. Lucio Santi, loose ball, knocked back by the All Blacks, and they have taken that one now back into possession. Richie Moonga thought about the pass to Will Jordan, gets driven backwards by Juan Martin Gonzalez. For the ABs, the big thing here is just avoiding injury. The last 10 minutes of this contest. We've got there, Amish, I stole and sold Rugby's iPhone, says Stan in there. That reminds me, my phone is pretty much on death's door, I would say. Like, it has probably got 1 week max left in it, unfortunately. So hopefully it does last till the end of the Rugby World Cup, but I think I'm going to be without a phone in the near future just because it keeps on crashing. Unfortunately, you're pretty sharp, bro. Submit this to a major broadcaster. And also we have got there, not many people can commentate a game and read and interact with comments. Says TP, imagine if someone donated Hamish $1,000 per minute of the game. Do you think he or you still commentates these Jam? I think my brain would be scrambled big time if that was the case. Even when we get any donation, I think my face changes to a darker shade of red when it happens. And now nice run from Nicolas Sanchez, well handled by Matthias Maroni. Now Rodrigo Bruni goes off to the left-hand side. Marcos Crema. Into 22. When it's out, we need to continue the phone fund so I can continue to send weird stuff on Insta, says Kerr there. Now Damian McKenzie does a real spin inside of his 22 to Mikey Williams. Goes off now to Will Jordan. Passes on the outside to Richie Moonga. McKenzie chasing after it hard. And no one wants to talk about Springboks. He's going to cry, says Andrew. That kick is put into touch by Los Pumas. Once again, they find themselves defending throughout the later stages of this match. There's tries conceded in the 20-minute stats, Hamish. But thoughts on this defence, says Audio. Yeah, New Zealand have looked strong in defence. Argentina, throughout that first 10 minutes or so, were just all over them with their attacking line. Brodie Retallick, mess up at the line-out, but once again, knock on there from Buzz and Velez. It just seems to be the trend that anytime Argentina get half a chance, that is when they end up making the mistake once more. And also, I was watching the Pacific Championship. I've been watching the games. It's been good so far, that competition. It's just a shame that the one that starts today is a little bit too early for when we're playing cricket. Now, Geordie Barrett, 40 metres out from the line again. Breaking news, 15 Argentinians. Precision strike by the All Blacks, says Mosse. And that will be a knock-on this time from the All Blacks. Another Argentina scrum here. And Stan is threatening to steal my girl after stealing my phone. Kiwis are always clear of the Springboks in the World Rugby, or in the Rugby Championship, Super Rugby or World Cup. They are their little brothers. Terrible game from the ref, and as felt by many. Are you waiting to go for an interview? If so, I hope it's not for live presenting, says Freddie. And there it is not, no. We are going to the funeral of Australian rugby. It's been planned for a while, and it's finally taken place. So sad. And hardly a contest anymore. In boxing, a towel I would have been thrown in by now, and I'm a long-time ABs fan, but the Pumas have heart. Got to give them that. And also go the Springboks, says Cindy. And also, will France be able to handle the loss, says Xander? I believe so. I think they'll try and fire back even stronger than ever before. They are ranked 4th at the moment in the overall rankings. And I believe even with this win by the All Blacks, they will not go to 1st. South Africa still number 1 in the world. And then, if England somehow pull off the upset, they will actually move up to 4th, I believe, in the overall rankings. Australia is rugby league now, says Gumdio. Are you wearing pants or shorts? I have got pants on, but I could have neither, and you guys wouldn't know. Now, Rodrigo Bruni has that ball available at the back of the scrum for Argentina. That scrum took about 2 minutes, I'll be honest. It was a little bit longer. It's funny because it's true. RIP Australian Rugby Union, says Ash there. And also tomorrow, it's time for England to grind box all the way, says Mario. Ball goes dead. In fact, goes into touch, I should say. Now going to be the line-out and a funeral for Australian rugby. And also, I mean, we all know this was going to happen in South Africa versus New Zealand. Excited for that. I put all my coins on South Africa tomorrow, says Nat. And yeah, AB's not on the mental game, going through the motions, such as the gap, says Shane. And Tamaiti is firing. Yeah, he's looked good off the bench, Tamaiti Williams. And I feel like he's done enough to get himself that spot in the final. I believe he'll be off the bench anyway, that I can think of. It's South Africa versus New Zealand Best World Cup, and who the hell keeps asking if you're wearing shorts under? I hope it's not a bloke, says Nazi Williams. And also Haka versus Tungo, says Manya, but now 40 metres out from the line. Artie Savia goes across to Damien McKenzie, looking for the chipper behind. I think Mwonga went down, saying that he was hit foully by Marcos Crema. So that big shot comes in from Shannon Frizzell on the Argentine. Can we please tell the Argentina side offside? Doesn't matter. Where'd that go? Doesn't matter, so they can do it also. And also the huck is scary, and also without the window, says Scrumlass. Sleep well tonight, England. You're doing an incredible job. Thank you from Brenda Cox, South Africa. Thank you very much. Yeah, a lot more one-sided in this match than a lot of people wanted to see, sadly. So that is why, for this last kind of 10 minutes, oh, here comes Will Jordan again. He is quick. He has got the man with him. He has kicked it in behind. He's going to go himself, Will Jordan, with all the pace in the world. Scores another try. He now moves up to 8, and he is on fire. A hat trick for Will Jordan, stepping up when it matters most. He's almost got his hand already on the golden try scorer trophy. In the 73rd minute, Will Jordan gets another, and that will secure the deal for the ABs. We have got a super sticker as well from Steve Nixon. Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciated. Yeah, hitting that donation button. Looking forward to the game, but still mentally, emotionally, and physically bruised. Those tackles in front of the TV screen left me close to having a heart attack, says Natasha Barrow. And thank you, bro. You did amazing all the way from South Africa, says Shanique. And of course, we will be back for South Africa versus England tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. And while Will Jordan having a field day, he certainly is. He's going to be player of the year. The thing is, though, for Will Jordan here, he had Geordie Barrett with him, and he did opt to go instead to get Emiliano Boffelli on the wrong foot, sits up for Will Jordan, scores the try. And go Will Jordan, says Dan Fox. Are you the face of the operation? Which operation we talking? Of the Kiwi lads, I guess I kind of am, but there's 4 of us. So even though we haven't had the other guys on the channel for a few months, I still consider it still a 4-man team. Are the Kiwi lads? And thank you, mate. From Cape York, Australia, says Bruce. And Jordan's an unorthodox-looking rugby player, but man, he's class, says Nazi Williams. That kick is missed again from Richie Moonga. So getting it the wrong way of the post. He's got a bit of a bleeding nose at the moment. Are you playing cricket today? Says Daniel. I am indeed. Are you playing down here, Daniel? Because if you are, we will be playing each other. Hopefully the weather lightens up a little bit because it looks a little bit overcast. At the moment, you should enter America's Got Talent. Never known anyone to commentate and read messages. You are unreal. Says it was there from Brenda. And Truth Tells. And also, see, I love the ABs, but it's boring to root for them because they always win. And we need to do something about our goal kicking, says Israel. And also, see, I love the All Blacks, and we will miss you after the World Cup 2023, although we won't be going anywhere. We've still got the URC, the Gallagher Premiership, the Champions Cup, the Sevens as well we will be covering, and then we're back into the Six Nations Super Rugby. Plenty more coming up in the very near future. Will Jordan should be man of the match in this game. And also we have got there from Navy and Papua New Guinea. And also Richie has given me flashbacks. I feel so bad for Argentina, or sorry, for Ireland. Argentina are bad at the moment. We have got the donation from Andy as well. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated there. Now the All Blacks looking to attack once more. Anton Leonard-Brown almost intercepted for Emiliano Boffelli, but didn't quite get to it. Now it's an advantage to the All Blacks and Mark Talia. We have got there the chat. Yeah, should be a good game. Says Daniel, is your brother who scores all the runs against anyone he plays playing as well? Because if he is, we will have to get him out early. Hopefully, anyway. That is the goal. Now, nice run from Mateo Carreras breaking through. Anton Leonard-Brown. Christie gets him around the bootlaces. Now on the halfway line, the All Blacks going to the right-hand side. The replacement now in Thomas Lavalini. In fact, it's Matthias Alemano with that one. Are you live streaming for the URC as well? I was starting to get sad. I wouldn't see you after the Rugby World Cup. Yeah, we have got the URC, although over this weekend we may not be doing the first game of the URC, mainly because it could get copyrighted, and then from there we wouldn't be able to do the semi-finals, so we're going to be doing it in a little bit of a different order, doing the URC on Monday morning instead. And how many minutes left? Still another, how many we got? We got another 4 minutes? Somewhere around there, 3 minutes now remaining in this contest. And we have got there, Yvonne's got it right. Says Scrumless, this is a terrible game indeed. Yeah, unfortunately much more one-sided than we would have liked to see, and it is close to the largest score margin we have had in a Rugby World Cup semi-final. So yeah, not ideal for the overall competition, definitely with how close it has been for the quarterfinals. And Hamish, how long do you plan on doing the commentary on YouTube for? Reckon you will be doing the next Rugby World Cup? Says Rugby. I think we'll still be doing this as long as my voice works. Now he played seconds. Lucky for you. That is good news. I'm sure that when I tell my team that, they will be very impressed. But you guys have still got a good side, so we have to make sure we're doing well. I'll probably have the GoPro as well. I didn't have it for the first game, but we'll bring it out for the next one. And Eddie Jones committed to the Australian Rugby, says Mosse. And one more try for Jordan to beat John Olomu's record, says Doc P. I've thrown in Argentina, claim that one. Going to the left-hand side, Matthias Maroni doesn't find the hands of Emiliano Boffelli. Mateo Carreras tackled low by Will Jordan. A little bit of a counter-ruck there. Looking to the short side, Buzz and Velez. Damian McKenzie working hard in there as well now. Nicholas Sanchez. The right-hand side. Marcos Crema. Tackled low by Tamaiti Williams. The right again. This is looking good from Argentina. I feel like if we had seen a little bit more of... Oh, he dropped the ball. Never mind. I was about to say it's looking very good for their backline. The All Blacks taking it quickly though here. Mo'unga going for the chip and chase by himself, looking for the 50-22, and he's got it. Or does he? It looks like maybe Nicholas Sanchez has got an injury here as well, which does not look ideal. It is a 50-22, so now New Zealand only going to be 5 metres out from the line. It's a big shot from Geordie Barrett coming in. And also we get their Pumas are not going well, says Marley, and my number 10 is going to score, says Chesney. And you'll still be here next World Cup, as the world will be more selfish. Where they go, and we will see nothing, says Kent in there as well. And the team did very good in this game. Looking forward to the next game, says Nels. And of course, we are going to be starting that one 90 minutes beforehand. Are you not getting confused commentating while listening to the game commentary on your headphones, says Gary? No, I have it very low down in terms of the volume. That's just so that I can hear the TMO when they are talking through some of the decisions. But overall, I can't actually really hear what the commentators are saying. Tokiaho goes across to Christie, now to Barrett. McKenzie tries to step, finds the offload up to Mo'unga. Does he pass or does he? Oh, he's got himself and he's short of the line there. But Christie should see that he's got the option of Will Jordan, but instead Tokiaho now. Driven down, that was the chance for a Will Jordan fourth, but Richie thought he had the chance instead, and that will be the knock-on from the All Blacks. Like Grant Nisbet, I think, just said on commentary, in the very faintness that I heard, he said that should have been a try all year. and pass it. Says Jimbo, and selfish, says Stephen. Yeah, he thought he had a decent chance. Still got time for one more scrum as well in this game, ladies and gentlemen, but it has just ticked over the 80 minutes. I love the All Blacks. I'm from New Zealand. Says Plain Facts. And there as well. Could you give us a fun plain fact for the end of this live stream, Plain Facts, if you've got one? Do let us know. Not a good game for Richie. Says Stanley, will there be another score? Says Eric. I'll be honest, with the amount of time remaining, I see the All Blacks, if they get this ball back, they will probably try and kick it out rather than going attacking, just because they don't want to risk a late-minute injury in this game. And also, there we Stan. Says Grumpers go South African. Says Melu. And there as well. And a greedy Richie says Peter, it could have been the fourth for Will Jordan. Bag push there from the Pumas. Their advantage as well. Or did Angus Gardner give them the advantage? He was about to, but he decided against it in the end, I think. Buzz and Velez now trying to go through a gap. Artie Savia trying to hold him up. Now it's gone down. Still rain falling at this ground. Also, we look at the Argentina have been middle stumped. Says MVT and wishful thinking for those who think that England will beat South Africa. Says Michael Gobble, I should say now, kicked behind. Will Jordan cleans it up. Passes across to McKenzie. And it looks like the All Blacks want one last attack here. So as long as they don't end up with an injury, it could be a decent tactical play from the ABs. Try and test out that gas tank just that little bit more. Now Christie going off to the right-hand side to Frizzell. Talkiaho has knocked it on. So that will be almost the end of this game if Argentina are unable to make the meters here. Crema going back across to Juan Cruz Malia. Augustin Crevi slinging past to Juan Martin Gonzalez. Set hard by Anton Leonard-Brown. Boffelli driven towards the touchline by Mark Talia. Great company, well done on the three Southern Hemisphere teams in the semi, says Claudio. And good luck to the other finalists, All Blacks. Our fourth cup coming up. And Stupid Pumas, says Tulo there. And I'm for a great final, enjoying the commentary. Hamish says Jazinko. Now going, McKenzie's just been flattened. But he's all right. He's back up to his feet. And he's going to be making another tackle by the looks of that. Could have been a big injury there. Anton Leonard-Brown trying to kick that ball forward. Still going, using the strength to his advantage. Matthias Salimano, though, cleans the ball up for Argentina. Now Emiliano Boffelli tries to milk the advantage. Referee says no. You do not get it. Now Crema, it's going to now be the penalty advantage against the All Blacks for offside. And once again, thank you, Hamish. Exceptional commentary as always. Chat soon. Says Natasha Barrett. And they chat as well. But like I said, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to follow us on Instagram. We will be replying to all the messages that you guys do send, whether it's about the World Cup or anything else. So be sure to check that one out. We're up to 83 minutes through in this contest, ladies and gentlemen. The Pumas, what do they decide to do here? Looks like Nicolas Sanchez is going to be looking for the touch line. And it is not found touch. Moonga will claim it and kicks the ball into touch. New Zealand making their way through now to the final to take on the winner of South Africa versus England. It will either be a rematch of the warm-up game for the Rugby Championship, for the Rugby World Cup, where New Zealand were defeated by a record margin up against the Springboks, or they will have a rematch with the side that they faced in the 2019 World Cup semi-final. And they were defeated. They've drawn with England most recently, so either way could be a pretty awesome one. We've got there the big dance for the ABs. Or the big dance, here we come, says Vic. And also, man, I smash game of John Olamo Rugby right now, says Chodan. Also, we've got there, and the chat, shave your beard, says Matthias. I actually did last week, fun fact, Matthias, but it keeps on growing, unfortunately. Well, it's kind of fortunate, it's kind of unfortunate. Because fortunate because it keeps my face warm, unfortunate because we get people telling me to shave it. And thanks for another great commentary, says Michael there. And also, we've got there is still time. Pumas need to push hard and believe, says Xander. And well done, Hamish. Another great commentary. And cool, says Dean. And thank you for the stream, Hamish, says Scrumlass. And there's well, where are the minutes? So normally they would be where it says finished. And our job done up to the Bockies now, says Chodan. And congratulations, All Black. Thank you, Hamish. Great like always, says Jacqueline. So, of course, we are going to be back for the next game, ladies and gentlemen, just taking place between South Africa and England. That will be tomorrow morning, New Zealand time, 9 p.m. South African. Hamish, how you doing? Movember, says Dylan. Normally, I end up with a mustache anyway, to be honest, so probably some form of it. Are you wearing All Blacks playing shorts with a suit? Please stand up, says Mosse. I have got track pants on, so yeah, there. They're not quite up to the standard of the top half, but they're about at the moment. And we are waiting for the final. And also, well done, New Zealand. See you all tomorrow for the England versus South Africa game. Thanks for your commentary, Hamish. Good work as always. Says the bank. Thank you very much, mate. And thanks, bro, for your commentary. Have a good game of cricket. And there you go. Hopefully, I'll go all right. Got a big match up. 2 hours time or so. We will be heading down, ready to go. But we will be back, like I said, with that commentary for South Africa versus England tomorrow morning. Be sure not to miss it, ladies and gents. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well. We are currently on the road to 42,000 subscribers. So if you do want to help us get there, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And also, we have got the Bullocks 5 minutes till work starts. Says Kerr in there as well. So hopefully work does fly by for yourself. Good luck playing cricket today, says Glenn. And also, what is the time? Says Berenice. Currently, we are sitting at 9:55 a.m. New Zealand time. So I will mention in about maybe 30 or 40 minutes, we will have our review of this contest coming up. Perhaps I'll even get 1 or 2 of my parents involved in that one as well to let you guys know exactly what they thought of the game as it was taking place. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, like I mentioned, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Rugby World Cup history for the All Blacks. They have held the opposition trialists in Rugby World Cup semi-finals for the 3rd time. They did so in 2015. They did so in 2011. Of course, 2019, different story, but they're looking for redemption now, looking to make it further in the competition. We have got great bench performance from Finley Christie, says Oka, and also we have got there, couldn't call it, oh no, I read that one. And for the championship match, a Black Speedo and Black Firm Pasties. And also, you must come see Namibia. It's a beautiful country, says Angela. It is somewhere that I would consider going in the future. Namibia, and score please, says John Bull. So 44 points to 6, the win for New Zealand over the Argentines. And no need to insult losers. It shows you up as one. Also a valiant effort to be admired. Thank you, says Susan James. Yeah, Argentina at the end of the day, to make it through to the semi-finals was big for them as well. And I do hope that in the future they do extremely well in their next few contests. And we will get to see that redemption arc for them once more. Because making it through to the semi-finals, I'm sure they will be more than happy with that. They came up against a better New Zealand side in this game. And also, we have got there, it's pointless even entertaining that thought, says Mitch there, and who got man of the match. I believe man of the match would have probably gone to Will Jordan throughout this game for his hat-trick, although we also saw some brilliant work from Shannon Frizzell, scoring himself 2 tries throughout this game. Smith got 1, Barrett got 1, and then I believe there was one other that we haven't mentioned as of yet. Or did we say them all? That might actually be all of them. My apologies. And cheers, bro. Great commentary, top man. Have a great game of cricket. Cheers, bro, says Codan. And also, we have got there, thank you, Hamish. See you at the final All Blacks to go whoop whoop, says Dubé in there. So yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, check us out on Instagram. Send us a message what you thought of this game or what you're thinking about the rugby world in general. We will reply to every single one of them. So thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all for the